has one. Grass, concrete, or dirt. The stage is the same. The rules, unwavering. And the goals, beautiful.
It goes in! It's unbelievable!
Now, in its 107th year, America's oldest soccer tournament is back.
The hometown hero!
One cup, open to all. The 2022 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the U.S. Open Cup third round. And welcome inside Monroe Community College in Rochester, New York, where tonight, as we said, playing the third round, picks back up Rochester, New York FC, playing host to FC Motown. Alongside Gary Bailey, my name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you with us. And Gary, tonight's action will have a lot to live up to in terms of what happened last night in the U.S. Open Cup, but we have some great storylines here tonight in the oldest continuous team sport tournament in the United States.
Yeah, it's been an Open Cup full of shocks so far. Big teams, even MLS teams being knocked out, as Detroit City showed us last night, and some of the lower sides, including amateur teams, still left in this tournament. So, I mean, what an excitement for every one of these players is going to be out on that pitch today.
Absolutely. FC Motown, one of those two amateur sides that are left, but they do control their own destiny here tonight in Rochester, as a berth in the fourth round is on the line. How did Rochester, New York FC get here, Gary? Well, it's pretty simple. A singular goal, as Gibran Rayo got the job done, and they were able to advance on the strength of that one goal.
Yeah, fantastic 1-2 with Dolabella, and he scores there just before halftime. Look at the ball from Dolabella. He takes it so well. Gibran Rayo tucks it in the back of the net against Lansdowne boys, and it was a 1-0 win.
And on the other side for FC Motown, there was a little bit more drama in the 96th minute, Gary. Impressive goal here scored by FC Motown to get the win.
Yeah, Federico de Oliveira, but it's a fantastic pass by Sammy Pompey from a long ball out from the goalkeeper, Dave Greshek. So all of them playing their part. And again, the only goal of the game against Syracuse Pulse.
Let's take a look at the starting 11s for both sides here. Goalkeepers on display.
Yeah, both decent goalkeepers, and a couple of changes from recent games for FC Motown. Jean Voltaire comes in, and Deliver Dacha, the captain, he makes an appearance. Likewise, a couple of changes for Rochester, with Ian Garrett coming in and Jacob Ackenridge as well. So two exciting lineups for us to enjoy.
So we are just about ready to go. Rochester, New York FC, as we said, 0-2-1. They're ninth in the Eastern Conference of the MLS Next Pro League. FC Motown, in the meantime, on the strength of that victory over AC Syracuse Pulse, playing in the NPSL. Gary, interesting to note, their season doesn't start until May, so this is all preseason activity for them.
It's very, very difficult, isn't it, to get going? And you've got a team that's youngish, which is Rochester, New York. They play in the MLS Next Pro. So they're a young team. The oldest player is 26, whereas the amateurs are an older side. And as you say, they haven't got their season going yet. So it's a whole mixture of possibilities. Will the youngsters be better than the older heads? Will the team that's played a couple of games, Rochester, New York, be stronger than Motown, who haven't really got going yet? Wow. We don't know. That's what makes it so exciting. It's all cup football, and it's full of possibilities.
And the bottom line, Gary, is this. Someone's moving on to the fourth round. One of these two sides are moving on to the fourth round as business continues to pick up. And as we've seen, don't rule anything out in this U.S. Open Cup last night. Hey, there is a lot to live up to from last night, but these are two of the great storylines in the U.S. Open Cup too, Gary. Might not get all the headlines, but they are a couple of the better storylines.
Oh, absolutely. FC Motown being one of only two amateur sides left in, and we're going to, throughout the broadcast, highlight some of the jobs they have. I mean, these guys work, and they play soccer as a part-time thing, and they're up against young professional players of Rochester, New York. So it's a big challenge for FC Motown tonight.
Absolutely. We are underway. My name is Neil Rule. My broadcast partner here today, former Manchester United and English national team keeper Gary Bailey, and we are happy to have you with us. Rochester, New York FC and the White Kids, all white, there today. As they have the early possession. FC Motown, of course, black jerseys with the green shorts. Turning back around with it, Pedro Dolabella. He was the guy that set the table for the goal for Rochester, New York FC. And their big win. In league play, they're coming off a 0-0 draw at Chicago Fire 2, the brand new MLS Next Pro. Ball up ahead on the left side now as Rochester, New York FC will give their first go at the goal. That shot is over the top of the bar, but a strong left-footed effort. Jesus Batiz let it go. Played for New Amsterdam of Nisa last year.
Yeah, there's players here with a checkered background, and some of them are on their way up, which is what Rochester, New York's all about. It's a next pro team. It's trying to develop players to get back into the top levels, the MLS, the USL. And for Motown, they're probably players who had a chance, weren't able to take it, or maybe they focused on their work, and they probably still harbor a few dreams of making a late run at professional football.
And we'll get into that a little bit as the match plays out. You talked about working their jobs and stuff like that. As we said, an amateur side in the NPSL, Gary, they do work jobs. They do work jobs, and you know, in their respective professions, they're heck of a soccer players for what they do for a living.
Yeah, I mean, some of them, they're plumbers, they're truck drivers. You know, it's not easy when you work all day and you still got to go train in the evening. So physically, it's massively demanding. And they must be looking at this thinking, guys, if we can get a result here as FC Motown, we used to say we can't draw an MLS team in the next round or something equally as exciting.
FC Motown with the possession, and you don't get it twisted. You know, we're not just talking about truck drivers that cross sent in and headed away. I mean, you do have guys that have played at very high levels. Mike DeFont is a guy, played in the MLS for the Colorado Rapids, the Red Bull Academy represented as well. Former MLS draft picks, the keeper Greshik was drafted by Sporting Kansas City as that cross sent in and bumped right back out over the touchline.
Yeah, you've even got international, Sammy Pompey, 2 caps for Haiti, played in the Portuguese 3rd division. Michael DeFont spent time in the Portuguese 2nd division. So there is some skill there. Perhaps time has moved on and they've, you know, a few years have gone by since those days, but this is exciting for them. This is full of possibility, and they're older heads. When you look at Pompey, he's 28, DeFont's 30. Daka's 32, whereas the Rochester, New York team, the oldest is 26, most of them 22, 24. So will the older heads prevail under pressure?
So Rochester, New York FC with the possession as they will bring it backwards. Work along their back line. They've almost exclusively worked the left side of the pitch, and there is a whistle and a foul against FC Motown. And we will see this, I think, Gary, at times here tonight. The play will get chippy. A couple of East Coast teams, and that's the book, though, Gary. You know, as they've come up, a lot of New Jersey guys and stuff like that. I mean, the match will get physical. We had the chance to talk to Sachi Hawk, the head coach for FC Motown. He, as a player, played at Boston College, so another one of those East Coast guys. Game tends to be a little more physical over on the East Coast, Gary.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they get stuck in. They're passionate players on both sides, and got a lot to live up to. In fact, for Rochester, their coach Bruno Baltazar has played at a decent level himself, so he knows what is required. He played in Portugal, Germany, Cyprus, and England at the lower levels, so he would have played enough professional football to know how to set up the Rochester team, all in white there. And it's a new franchise as well, just set up. He was telling us how he's been watching videos, trying to find players and trying to put together a team to actually come out here and perform. Only the 6th game of the season for Rochester, New York.
And that's an overriding storyline of this U.S. Open Cup. Lots of these sides basically meet up, Gary, get camp rolling, and boom, they have a match and they're playing, and you're playing for your life. Just in terms of the U.S. Open Cup. So it is something, I think, a good way to jumpstart the season as that ball comes to Anchorage. So Anchorage plays it up ahead, just over the line as Rio loses control of it. So the throw coming up.
There was a physical moment there that you talked about. Actor Camp just giving Rio a bit of a shoulder-to-shoulder knock there and saying, hi, welcome to the game. Have a look there. Bang, in you go.
I told you, Gary, it hits different on the East Coast, man. It certainly does.
And in terms of Rochester up front, of course, Jamie Vardy of Leicester City fame is a minority owner of Rochester, New York. So he'll be excited. Maybe he's even watching this game. He'll be excited to see how the strikers do up front. No pressure, those in white, trying to live up to Jamie Vardy.
So here come FC Motown now with the possession, and out on the left side, here's Ryan Peterson. He's a very pacey player, a couple of stints with Detroit City FC. Of course, they made waves in the U.S. Open Cup, beating Columbus Crew out of the MLS, coming from behind to do so. Peterson had 2 separate stints with that club. Turn, and the shot is on frame off of the right foot. So a good opportunity there. And Deliver Duca, the captain, getting the shot off.
Oh, it shows they're going to be a threat, FC Motown. There might be amateurs, and Bruno Baltazar, the coach, saying we respect them. These are players who've played at very, very decent levels. Have a look there. Good first touch, good turn. He's just falling as he hits it, so he can't get enough power behind it. But if you're a Rochester, New York defender and you see that, you go, okay, I realize now I'm up against players who can play the game.
As you said, Deliver Duca, 32 years old, so he knows the game. He knows his way around. He knows his way around the 18, more importantly, because there's little battles, right, Gary?
Sure. Every part of the pitch, there'll be battles to see who's dominant, who's physically dominant, skillfully dominant. And both these teams have done well to get to this stage. If we talk of success, yes, one team will go home, but especially for FC Motown, I mean, this is brilliant to get where they have, and it's been a little bit sort of checkered on the way there. They had to replay one of their games, which they initially lost 3-2 to Westchester, and then Westchester fielded an eligible player.
That ball up ahead, coming off the line to make the grab is David Grezhik. He jumps off the line, and there is Sachi Hot. As we said, been the head coach since 2016. He signed a homegrown contract with New York Red Bulls of MLS in his time. Very, very entertaining fellow to talk to, Gary. We'll say it like that.
Characters.
Yes.
Bruno Baltazar a little bit more sort of focused. He was more about building his team, getting a core group together. I believe this is the only independent MLS Next Pro team. So I guess their model is, we find players that maybe have just been overlooked and we try and improve them, and then we sell them on. And that's our business model. But just back to Motown, they had to replay their match. They lost to Westchester 3-2. Westchester fielded an ineligible. Try and say that quickly.
Easy for you to say. Yeah.
Ineligible player, and they replayed it and won it 1-0. And in fact, it was Ryan Peterson who got the goal to win that match. And they beat Syracuse 1-0, and that's why they are right here in the third round.
Bruno Baltazar looks on. Most recent was an assistant coach at Nottingham Forest. Also an assistant coach for the Philippines national team as well. So he's got experience really at every level. Player down on the pitch for Rochester, New York FC. Slowly, Will Inalen gets to his feet. Inalen out of the Portland Timbers Academy, was there for 3 years. Spent the last 3 seasons in Finland. 33 goals and 67 matches played during his time in Finland.
That was a bit of an aimless kick, a little bit long there and not giving anyone a chance to get to it. Gibran Rayo in particular was in that vicinity, but the ball knocked way past him. Just looking at Motown now as they're about to take the goal kick. I thought initially when I heard Motown it was something to do with music, but that's not the case, is it?
No, that would be not the case, as you said. Morristown.
Yeah, short for Morristown. Yeah. Which is what, about 45 minutes west of New York? I'm sure many people, when they hear Motown, they would jump to the same the musical conclusion.
Yep. David Grezhik booms it down the pitch. Grezhik with back-to-back clean sheets, technically, in the 2 rounds. As Gary said, the game against Westchester had to be replayed. Westchester had a player that went down in the concussion protocol, came out of the match, then came back in. So the appeal was made, and then as Gary talked about, it was overturned. They had to replay the match, so here we are today. FC Motown, one of 2 amateur sides left in the U.S. Open Cup. That throw-in headed away by Dolabella.
The other one is, I believe, North Carolina Fusion under 23. So they're up against Richmond Kickers in this round of the Cup. So fantastic. In fact, they kick off in about 15 minutes time. So both amateur sides playing at more or less the same time. And to be an amateur side and get this far, huge credit to FC Motown, Sachi Hutt, and all the players.
I believe that was Jesus Batiz that was taken down.
Sammy Pompey got the assist for the goal that got them into this round. It was his pass back to Federico Oliveira that got them the 1-0 win against Syracuse Pulse.
The ball along the far left touchline into the box. Left side attack that time for Rochester, New York FC. FC Motown able to get the clearance at least temporarily. Ian Alberto, the touch ahead.
Struggling to get much passing going, FC Motown, the last few minutes. It's been good pressing from Rochester, good control of the ball. So they're spreading it around and stretching Motown.
Will that be the ticket, Gary, for Rochester, New York FC, in that given their youth, their setup with what they are, maybe stretch that field out as wide as possible, make FC Motown run as much as possible?
Yeah, that would be a very logical thing to do against an amateur side who you assume aren't as fit. They don't get to train as often as Rochester, New York do. And the side in white should be able to knock it around. Their players have played generally at a higher level and more recently, so they should be able to play quick football on the ground, nice one-touch football. Bottom line, though, is FC Motown have got to the stage, and that's exactly what Bruno Baltazar was saying. We respect them.
Now an opportunity. That shot was blocked, but it does trickle its way into the 18 before it's cleared out of harm's way. We move into the 14th minute. Third round, Lamar Hunt, U.S. Open Cup. From Monroe Community College in Rochester, New York. Neil Rule, Gary Bailey here with you.
It looks a lovely day out there. It's a little bit gusty with the flag, and I presume cool-ish.
Coolish, 47 degrees.
Yeah.
I think that qualifies as coolish. But I don't know. You know, there was snow in the area on Monday night, so it probably actually feels pretty good to everybody based on what it has been.
Yeah, the sun's shining, and you don't want it too hot if you're going to be running around, especially if you're FC Motown and you're not possibly as fit, your season hasn't started. You need the coolness just to keep the body temperature down.
Start coming up here for FC Motown. So Gary, as we creep up here on the 15-minute mark, what are you seeing so far? Looks to be FC Motown with a bit more of the control.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, it's I've seen good spells from Rochester holding the ball, knocking it around, trying to play. I've seen a couple of moments from FC Motown in attack.
That ball to Rayo is onside. Rayo double teamed. Taken off the ball, making a quick turn again. Kian Alberto through the midfield. He tries to outlet, but a little too much mustard on the hot dog as that will trickle in to Philip Ejimadu. He's an interesting player. Still very young, signed with LAFC back in 2019. Played 12 matches for FC Tucson in 2019 as well. Played 3 matches for the USA U20 national team. Allen plays it towards that right wing. Making a turn, cross towards the middle. Zinalin again. We get a foul call or a flag?
If the ball went over the line there, it's so many lines on the pitch. It's hard to see, but I'm assuming it's a goal kick. But Zinalin, big player as well, and you mentioned Eji Madu. These are all players who have great possibilities. Have a look, does it go over the line? I think that's what they called it for. But these are players who have been at a decent level. Eji Madu with LAFC, they probably feel that they can still make it. Jalo had 3 seasons with Sporting Lisbon B. It was a Portuguese under-19 international. And that's what this Rochester, New York, the way I understand it, is all about. Just give these players another chance to show that they can make it. And sometimes players mature late. They have a spell where they're big names at 16, 17, and then they lose their way. Maybe through lack of focus or whatever. And then they realize at 22, 23 that their chance is slipping them by, and they have another crack at it. So this is what this team in white is all about here, is producing, is getting these players with talent to produce something special and get them back into the high-level pro football.
That ball will be escorted over the goal line for a goal kick, but you were mentioning Boubacar Diallo for Rochester, New York FC, and that's really the profile, Gary. As you look out there on the pitch, and in particular the guys in white, they have that build, that 6'2" build. They look athletic, very long. Tons of athleticism as well as we're seeing out there. They have the frame. They look the part.
They do look the part, and they knock it around. And I think as the game goes on, we'll see them, their passing improving as they get into the game. They have that potential. They have that hunger to be professionals at a higher level. I think for FC Motown, if you're working and you've already got a job, then this is more of a passion, of a hobby, and they've done so well just to get to this far. They deserve so much credit, this FC Motown team, and they'll be desperate to go a step further. Their dream will be an MLS team in one of these big stadiums. So they're going to fight every inch of the way here today.
Speaking of battling, Duca battles, but that came all the way across the 18. Inalin was right there and couldn't corral it to get the shot off.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't, because I thought Gabriel Costa gave him a decent pass there, and Inalin had a chance just to control it and get a shot on target. They're not too far out. Was it 10, 12 yards out? So really good possibility there for Rochester, New York.
FC Motown with the throw. Has been interesting. The ball has pretty much been up that right side of the pitch exclusively for FC Motown. As that whistle will go against, and that will be actually a booking for Lamar Batista here in the 18th minute.
Yeah, he did just sort of crash into the striker as he was going down the line, Lamar Batista. Spent some time with Portland too, and he was on the books of LAFC, so the captain is a decent player. But have a look here. As the ball goes down, it's a good run, a decent run, and just bang, he hits into Nerlin Saint-Ville. Does knock him down.
That little push of the hip, I think, was the look that the official saw. You still see down on the pitch, Nerlin Saint-Ville spent some time with the Haiti U20 national team. Lamar Batista in the books. I think Lamar Batista is the prototype, Gary, for what I was talking about earlier. At 6'5",
yes,
just looks the part. There he is.
Last year with Oklahoma City, but as we mentioned, on the books of LAFC. So these players in white have been very close to that top-level professional football, and they feel they can get back up there. The coach feels that, Bruno Baltazar. Does seem like he's taking a while to get up, Nerlin Saint-Ville. Also played in CONCACAF Champions League, Saint-Ville, so he has some good background to him as well. While we have a little bit of a break, I think we should mention that Motown do have one of their players, Tweno Sinclair, in hospital, very, very seriously ill, and the players and the manager Sachi Hutt saying their thoughts are with them, and certainly we wish him a good recovery.
Absolutely, and there is a GoFundMe account set up to help out with the medical bills. You can go to FC Motown's website, get the link to that. Tribute. Now it looks like Nerlin Saint-Ville finally shaking it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. A yellow card caution has been issued by the referee.
Lamar Batista officially in the books, the secretarial part of it complete. How does that change things, Gary, for a player? 18th minute with the yellow card. Have to be mindful out there.
Absolutely, you have to be mindful, and it's even more difficult when you're a defender. There's some balls you have to go for.
Ball sent up ahead, and unable to corral it was Mike DeFont, former MLS player. Colorado Rapids, played 17 matches, 2017-18. 31 matches played for Phoenix Rising.
Okay, that's a very, very good level of player.
And oh, by the way, the Portuguese second division as well.
Maybe at 30, he's maybe not as quick as he used to be.
Ball dropped off. Pass works its way through. The shot finds the back of the net. Left-footed effort. Dolabella gives Rochester, New York FC the jump. A quality finish.
Fantastic by Dolabella. He was the one who got the assist for the goal in the previous round by Gibran Rayo, and now he scores himself. Ball gets knocked in. Defender's a little bit slow to react. Oh, good dummy, by the way, from Gibran Rayo. Maybe that's what just threw the defender there, Jean Valter, just threw him off his game just for a moment. So almost it's the opposite too. It's Gibran Rayo doing a trick to help out Dolabella. In the previous round against Lansdowne Boys, it was Dolabella with the 1-2 for Gibran Rayo. And the team with the younger average age and the team that's expected to play more successful football is now 1-0 up. Tough battle ahead now for FC Motown.
Pedro Dolabella, another one of those guys that we were talking about. 6'4", second-team All-American last year out of Marshall University. Was a Conference USA Player of the Year.
Dolabella scored in the 21st minute of the game.
So that's exactly what the home side ordered. We will see how this will impact things now for FC Motown.
Well, it's tough for Motown this season. Hasn't got going. At least, you know, Rochester's got 3 games in the league and in the cup as well, a couple of games under their belt. For FC Motown, just the cup games, and they're going to have to find some rhythm, play themselves back into this game. I think if you're Rochester, New York, you just want a high press. Look at those white shirts. You want a high press. You want to make it difficult for the amateur team to play out. And you know, if you can get a second, you can start to kill this game off very quickly. If you let Motown back into it, then you could have a real battle on your hands.
And this was something, Gary, that you talked about throughout the course of the U.S. Open Cup. FC Motown does have that luxury where the season hasn't started yet. They can go full on. A lot of these other sides do have to take into account as that cross is sent into the 18. Recovery for Rochester, New York FC. But Rochester, New York FC, as we talked about in MLS Next Pro, they'll host New York City FC 2 Saturday in league play. So they'll have 3 matches essentially in 7 days. So that's something you have to keep an eye on.
I would guess that this cup match is the most important for them. Yes, the league matches is a chance for them to improve their skills, but it's this cup match where they're going to get the glory and all the attention. And for these players and the coach Bruno Baltazar, of course, imagine if they win this, and it's a big if at this moment, they might draw an MLS team. You get a lot of eyes watching them play, and they play well. Suddenly, scouts and coaches are calling up Bruno Baltazar to chat about players. And that's basically what this team is all about, selling on these players, taking them to a higher level and obviously making some money in the process.
There's Dolabella again, jersey being grabbed from behind. And this will be a booking, I believe, and it is.
Well, it wasn't one tug, I think it was at least 2 tugs.
Right. And it's just one of those scenarios, Gary, you're stopping a potential scoring play.
Yeah. I guess Boubacar Jallo, was it? Sorry, I'm looking the wrong side. Danny Cordero.
Yep. 25th minute booking.
Yeah, he just probably felt he just didn't have the legs to catch up, and it was again, they haven't played that many matches, so I guess he's not match fit, and just decided it was just easier to tug the player back.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. A yellow card
Slotted
caution
beautifully
has been
towards
issued
the
by
right wing. That cross in.
FC Motown.
Boy, how about that
6,
cross,
Daniel
though?
Cordero in the 24th minute of the game.
Beautiful cross, whipped in with pace, causing all sorts of problems there from Jacob Akenridge.
Akenridge firing that cross. That ball just over the line, so a throw-in coming. I believe Nerlens St. Ville is down again.
He's just getting up off the ground there. He's obviously felt that knock. He'll be keen to stay on the pitch and try and help his team find an equalizer.
Player down from Rochester, New York FC. And that whistle will go against FC Motown. And the booking will go against FC Motown. And that is Nerlens St. Ville. things getting pretty chippy.
Well, as you said, it's East Coast football. But certainly the home side on the front foot, they've got the goal. They look like they're a little bit quicker to the ball. They've had some matches under their belt, certainly more than FC Motown have. So let's have a look at Sudville.
That's a bad intention walk over there. You could see it. You could see it coming, what the intentions were.
It's always a thing when you've got a, well, that's actually, I'm not so sure that it went to Sinville, did it?
Is it Pompey that got it? No, it is Nerlens St. Phil. Okay.
Okay, all right, there you go. Wasn't quite sure who the referee was looking at there, but it is feisty. Come on, it's East Coast football. There's going to be a bit of pushing and shoving and a few yellow cards.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
We've got two of them 26 minutes in. We're not done yet, I get the feeling.
Motown, number 25, Samuel Pompey, in the 26th minute of the game.
Gabriel Costa will line things up on the restart. Fires it in, not his best effort. I think he'd be the first one to tell you that. Ryle will turn with it. That ball headed across the line, so this will result in a corner by Voltaire. I don't know if he didn't realize the amount of time he had or what the story was, but
I just wonder if he could have headed it back to his keeper, Dave Greshik. Perhaps he just felt it was risky and that maybe there was a striker who might come in and intercept the ball, so he just played safe.
Baptiste will whip this corner in. Rochester, New York FC looking to put FC Motown in a big hole. That ball headed towards the 6, and it's loose, but we get a whistle beforehand, and the offense will go to Rochester, New York FC. But you get that feeling right now, don't you, Gary? Rochester, New York FC, after getting that goal, has turned it up even a little bit more.
Yeah, they're on the attack, on the front foot, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for FC Motown to play out. There's a high press. Look at the white shirts will start to close down. Here they come. And I think they realize they're probably fitter. They're probably more match attuned after having played more games. And they're physically very impressive, as you say. There's a lot of them way over 6 foot. But here's a chance for Motown. You get a free kick in a good position. They've got a few big boys they can throw. You can see Herm Achterkamp working his way in. Yeah, it's just big arms there from Babukar Giallo. But they've got a big man in themselves in that 24, Herm Achterkamp for Motown. He's in the box there. You can see him almost towering above the others. So a decent ball in here from Kian Alberto could cause a few problems.
Alberto will line things up. He will send it into the mixing bowl. Alberto played his college soccer at Colgate. Whips it with the left foot in, and it's headed wide of the frame. Jimado came off the line.
I tell you, that's a fantastic ball in, because that's right in that corridor of uncertainty between goalkeeper and defenders. And Ejimado wasn't quite sure if he should come. Eventually, he decided to come, and he had to have a flying punch to get that before Defont could steer it into the back of the net. Not quite sure if it was a mixture of goalkeeper's glove and Defont's head that connected with the ball, but great ball in, Kian Alberto. Look at it. At this stage, keeper's waiting, and eventually thinks, I've got to go. Tell you what, if there was VAR, I think the keeper didn't get the ball and he got Defont. And if there was VAR, that could very well have been a penalty.
So now a corner coming up for FC Motown. Ryan Peterson will serve it up. Played his college soccer at NC State, transferred to Rutgers, led Rutgers in points his senior year. Former Detroit City FC player sends the corner in, and We will do it again. No, that will be actually off of FC Motown. Gary, going back to that set piece there for FC Motown, and you are a very good source for this, obviously, playing for Manchester United, the English national team. The thought process, I'm always intrigued by this. You know that ball's being whipped in, the area of uncertainty, as you call it. I call it the mixing bowl. That split-second decision where you have to commit. Take me through that process.
It's a very, very difficult one for goalkeepers. I mean, it's a tough ball, because you could see Eji Madu didn't initially come for the ball. He's thinking, my defenders will get it, and eventually he's going, you know what, they're not going to get it. I need to come and help them out. And if you do come, there's a golden rule with keepers. If you come, you have to get something on the ball.
Yeah, you can't miss.
Yeah, so once he sets off, it was a Superman dive, it was a punch. I'm not so sure he did get the ball. He certainly got Michael Defon, that's for certain. Nearly knocked him out there, but it takes a lot of bravery as a keeper, because you're diving into oncoming traffic.
Terry will win the corner.
Now, the previous corner wasn't a good one. You saw one or two of the FC Motown players saying, knock it higher. We need it to get over the first line of Rochester's defense. So let's see how this corner goes.
Duca now will assume the corner duties. It's a good one. That had some pace. Sent right to the 6 line.
Was big Herm Achterkamp trying to get on the end of that. Defender got there first, but you can see the 24, number 24 for FC Motown in the middle. He's a big unit. If they can find him again, that could be a great chance for them to get a goal. Set pieces count as much as any other goal. Have a look again as it goes into Achterkamp. He's going to get up. That's good defending, though. He's knocked a couple of defenders on their backsides.
That shot is blocked off the left foot of Duca. So just as quickly as we talked about Rochester, New York FC turning up the heat, all of a sudden we've had a swing, and FC Motown has been dangerous the last 5 minutes. As the faithful look on.
Yeah, there's a small crowd there, but I think they're into it. They know the excitement of the cup and the things that can happen.
Duca pings another one in. He'll get another shot at it. Great work to keep it alive. Duca sends it back. That ball curled towards the back post. An opportunity. Ejimadu comes off the line to make the stop.
That's a good save from Ejimadu. Again, super brave to come flying out there. And another great ball in from Kian Alberto. He whipped that ball in, and I tell you what, that's good goalkeeping from the 22-year-old.
Let's see it again.
Have a look at this ball in. It's bending back towards the player there. Is that Nerlin? St. Ville, yeah. He's getting stuck in there, and the goalkeeper, brave as a lion.
I'm always intrigued with those moments for keepers where split-second decision, you have to lay everything on the line as that foul goes against FC Motown.
Yeah, you have to get a punch, and you have to make sure the punch clears the danger area. And then whatever happens, if you get kicked afterwards or whatever happens. And some goalkeepers, they come out and they don't like those moments, and they sort of half pull out of it, and the ball drops down. But Philip Ejimadu, on both occasions, came flying out, took all the risks, and came to his team's rescue.
So a throw-in coming up now for Rochester. They're on the back foot a little bit, Gary. Let's be real. FC Motown's taken control of the play the last 6 or 7 minutes. Now they're looking to put something together. That laid off. Dolabella's shot will go wide of the left bar.
The way he grabbed his head, he felt that was extremely close, Dolabella. It's hard to see exactly how close it was. Here we go. We might get another opportunity here. No, it didn't seem that close. Dave Gretschek, the goalkeeper, didn't even make an attempt, and he just ran across. So maybe Dolabella was just hoping it would go in more than anything else.
So that ball sent back. BC plays it up ahead towards that left side. Throwing coming up again, though, for FC Motown. Duca Duca just couldn't quite catch up to it.
Just looking at Lamar Batista in defense, you were asking me the question a little bit earlier. When you get on a yellow card that early in a match, you know, what does it do? It's more difficult when you're a defender because you know, if it's one-on-one, you have to make a tackle at some point, and you have to stop players getting past you. So you take a yellow. If you're already on a yellow, of course you can't, because you're going to get sent off with a second yellow. So it limits your defensive capabilities, which is why we always say to defenders in particular, but basically to every player, don't give away cheap yellows, especially early on in the game. You want to keep that one in your pocket for when you really need it.
And to take that even a step further, as there's a turnover, Cordero with it. Look for Peterson, and that ball cleared off. Ejimadu able to keep that one alive. But that was a very athletic play. You won't see that in the stat sheet. That was a great play there by Ejimadu.
Yeah, he's been very impressive, the goalkeeper. Done all the things that he needs to do, is absolutely right. And again, that could be the difference, is that you have good outfield players, of course, if you're Rochester, New York, given the pedigree of these players. But if you've got a good goalkeeper who's solid at the back, just can keep you in the game and give you time to get a second and a third and wrap this thing up. And that's obviously the aim for Rochester, New York, to get the second and the third. Of course, if you're FC Motown, it's the opposite. It's to get yourself an equalizer.
Here's an opportunity. Making a run on that right side as Rayo. Can Rayo catch up to it? He does. But it's still 3v3. There's a pass and a finish. And Rochester, New York FC adds another one. Will Enelin with the quality finish. And Gary FC Motown got caught in a counter, and they paid the price.
Well, Rayo was on for quite a while here. He's on his own in the middle. When the ball comes, I'm thinking the chance has been missed because he's had to run wide. But nice little ball back. Dolabella again.
Quality.
He's been in for, scored the first. He gets the assist here. He got the assist in the last match. He's aware of where Enelin is. Have a look. He sees him, puts the ball on his foot. Maybe you can ask Michael Defont, should he have been a bit tighter to Enelin? But let's just give Dolabella all the credit. Fantastic assist there. And now they're 2-0 up, and that's the position they've been aiming to get in. Now they've got a little bit of a gap between themselves and FC Motown, and perhaps they can get their passing game really going and stretch this match and make it difficult for their amateur visitors.
Assisted by number 5, Pedro Dolabella.
Dolabella gets the assist.
That's an alien from Dolabella in the 38th minute.
Alien gets the goal. Boy, FC Motown had probably their best 8 to 9 minute stretch of action. And in the blink of an eye, Gary, they're down 2-0.
Yeah, well, they're up against quality players that have, as we said before, played at a decent level. And there's been a little bit of space at the back. There's a few times that Gibran Rayo has been in a lot of space. And defensively, they need to be a little bit tighter, Motown. But it's good news for the Rochester team. And you know what? There's players who've, in this competition, have made a name for themselves with good performances, exactly like Dolabella's given us so far. One of them that springs to mind is Valentin Sabello, was playing for Florida Soccer Soldiers. I think it was 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And he got signed by Charlotte Independence, who were a USL team at the time. And he was one of about 2 or 3 players from that team who went on to sign pro contracts. So for these Rochester players looking to move up to bigger teams, you know, right now there's a few
like to thank
eyes
Rochester
on
Regional
Pedro
Health for being the
Dolabella
official
saying,
medical provider for the
he's
Rochester
not bad.
NYFC.
Here come FC Motown again. Cross, shot, and a goal. A quick answer for FC Motown. That was a big-time finish by the captain. Delavar Duca does the job, and they're right back in it.
Fantastic by FC Motown. Many teams would have said, well, that's it, we're 2-0 down, we're struggling, but straight back, lovely little move here. Ball comes in from Ryan Peterson, and he goes to hit it and then brings it onto his left foot. Ducker so well. He just tempts the defenders with his right foot, brings it onto his left, knocks it just wide of Ejimadu, and so he's beaten 2 defenders and a goalkeeper with that move. He's got the experience, hasn't he, at his age, early 30s, and he's shown us exactly how to stick the ball in the back of the net. So we have game on.
We are back at it. Enelin unable to step through with it. Voltaire plays it up ahead. Tracking back was Jallo. FC Motown once again on the front foot. St. Ville sends it. And that is on frame, and Ejimato has to make another save as Voltaire made a bid with a header.
Yeah, decent ball in for FC Motown, and he's a long way out with that header, so it's one you expect Ejimato to save. But have a look at the ball whipped in. Does really well, Voltaire. Yeah, he's all of 15 yards out, so it's going to have to be one hell of a header to beat the goalkeeper. But if you're FC Motown, you're thinking, you know what? Not only are we in this with a score, but now we're starting to create chances. Maybe we can get an equalizer.
Labella flicks that one up ahead, and once again, here comes Ryo. Ryo, the shot, and a stop is made by Grezhik. Boy, Gary, just like that, we have opened up. It's a track meet now.
Fantastic football from both sides. This is what the Open Cup is all about. The surprises and the excitement, the goals. And it's difficult to know which way it's going to swing. It seemed to me that Rochester had a handle on this game, but that goal has just changed things.
I have to give a lot of credit to Sachi Hott, the head coach of FC Motown, where, like, you see this a lot. Teams will fall behind maybe by a goal on the road. They'll reel it back in. Sachi Hott gave me the impression that that doesn't matter to him, that they are coming to play the way that they play, and whatever happens, happens. And I get the sense he's the kind of guy, there's no difference between 2-0 and 4-0. It's all the same, so you may as well go out swinging. And FC Motown, they came back swinging.
Yeah, great credit to them as an amateur side, absolutely fantastic. And to pick on your point, as a referee has a word, Sachi said we look for characters as well as quality. So he wants players who can fight back. And on top of that, he also said our bench could win us the game. He said we've got a good squad, so maybe in the second half, if only one goal down, Motown, they could make a couple of changes to influence this match.
Allen with it, 1v1. Working against Voltaire. Ryo makes a turn. Jallo, wing it to the left side. Good build up here from Rochester. Cross into the box. It's loose. Shot is blocked. I believe it will be a goal kick. Finland made a bid for a brace. No, it will be a corner.
I think they're saying that it actually was one Rochester player playing it off the other, but the referee nonetheless has given the corner. Let's have a look. It's a floating ball in.
Kick is brought to you by Rochester.
Everyone's just going for it, and it looks like Inalin knocks it off Gibran Ryo, but the referee gives it. Let's see what they can do with this.
Corner served in. It's flicked out by Voltaire. Ortiz challenges. Whistle will go against FC Motown.
That's interesting. You talked about how tough the match is, but it's been played in a great spirit. There's been hard tackles, but immediately the players get up, and as you saw there, there's a shake of the hands. They help each other up. Joe Fowler immediately acknowledges that it's a foul, and he puts his hand out here to Lamar Batista. Have a look. Helps him up. Nice spirit. That's wonderful to see, that they can take the hard knocks, and at the same time, there's no nastiness behind it. It's just solid, good tackling, or late tackling in that case, because it was a free kick.
Well, Fala knew that there was a little sweep of the leg there. I mean, John Kreese of Cobra Kai Karate would have been impressed with the little sweep of the leg. Fala knew it. You know, the whistle was made.
Yeah.
We play on.
This goal from Motown has certainly changed the halftime talk for Bruno Baltazar for Rochester, because at 2-0 you're thinking, well, control the game, look for a third, all those good things. Now at 2-1, you have to be very careful that you don't push too much for the third goal and leave yourself exposed at the back. So both managers will have slightly changed and tweaked their team talk because of this goal from FC Motown.
Bella with the touch. Bella has that cut out. There will be 2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official on the sideline has
time.
indicated that there will be a minimum of 2 minutes added to the first half of the match.
Quick start by Batista, a little bit too quick.
He's going to be careful with his hands there, Batista. I know he's being closed down and he wasn't allowed to take a quick free kick. You can't put your hands out and push players away. And sometimes it can be temperament that stops a player from making it at the top level. It's not just always ability. If players have too fiery a temper, they get into trouble. So for Lamar Batista at age 24, just needs to control his emotions. His team are 2-1 up. They're in a good position. He's on a yellow card. Just needs to play this game sensibly. You know, sort of football intelligence, and that's vital if you want to be a top-level pro.
So we move up towards that second minute of stoppage time. Gustavo Ricci played the last 3 seasons with Austin Bold. Breckenridge touches that. Rayo. Breckenridge again. Will the corner be awarded? It will. Was there an overruling? Yes, there was.
Oh, well, it's been a good first half. 3 goals. Some good football, some strong tackles, some nice play all round, and yeah, both managers, Sachi Hutt and Bruno Baltazar, just fine-tuning their thoughts before they walk in the locker room. This promises to really bring on a great second half, this close and this much to play for in round 3. We've got everything to look forward to in the next 45 minutes.
There is the whistle. First half complete. Very entertaining. First 45 minutes of this third round U.S. Open Cup matchup. Rochester, New York FC with the 2-1 lead over FC Motown. Dolabella, one of the goals for Rochester, New York FC. We will take a halftime break. When we come back, we'll get you the second half of play. Should be a good one coming down the stretch. FC Motown right back in this one. Rochester, New York FC with the 2-1 lead. We'll be back with more of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
For me, one of the best things about life. For me, one of the best things about life. For me, one of the best things about life. For me, one of the best things about life.
This stuff works, guaranteed, or your money back. This is Roundup for lawns. This stuff works.
In a world controlled by gas, there's only one way.
We want to lead our lives. Basically, we choose what we want our future to look like. So what's yours going to be?
When Subway opened, they changed the fast food game. But sometimes you gotta refresh to be fresh. Welcome to the Eat Fresh Refresh. We got the... Wait, that's new.
Because we're refreshing the refresh.
What?
There's the new honey mustard chicken, the Subway Club, and the new Baja turkey avocado with...
New Baja Chipotle sauce?
Yep, they're constantly refreshing with better ingredients, better footlongs, and better spokespeople.
It's the Eat Fresh Refresh at Subway, and they're gonna keep refreshing and...
This is Roundup for lawns. This stuff works. This stuff kills weeds down to the root without killing your lawn. This stuff works on dandelions, crabgrass, clover. This stuff works for up to 3 months. This stuff works guaranteed or your money back. This stuff works on big lawns, small lawns, and I guess you can call that a lawns. This stuff works without killing your lawn. This stuff works without killing your weekend. This stuff works for the rookies and the seasoned pros. This stuff works in Knoxville, Bronxville, Rockville, Marysville. This is Roundup for lawns. This stuff works.
We love it when people visit us from out of town.
But when we fly ROA.
Hack your first shave with the Philips One Blade First Shave. Designed to protect your skin against nicks, cuts, and burns. Hack your first shave.
You got me feeling like
Cardinals and the Phillies, two clubs with high hopes on Sunday Night Baseball.
I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathed the mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Pittsburgh, Parkersburg, Gravelburg, Colorado, Ellen City, Cedar City, Dodge City, what a pity. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
This is Roundup for lawns. This stuff works. This stuff kills weeds down to the root without killing your lawn. This stuff works on dandelions, crabgrass, clover. This stuff works for up to 3 months. This stuff works guaranteed or your money back. This stuff works on big lawns, small lawns, and I guess you can call that a lawns. This stuff works without killing your lawn. This stuff works without killing your weekend. This stuff works for the rookies and the seasoned pros. This stuff works in Knoxville, Bronxville, Rockville, Marysville. This is Roundup for lawns. This stuff works.
The rooms look bigger in the pictures.
3-bedroom Dutch colonial, aisle 5. New construction duplex, aisle 7.
This feels pointless.
The housing market can be pretty overwhelming. Let me help you out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Ta-da!
How did we miss this?
Redfin learns what you like and constantly finds new homes for you.
Constantly.
Yep.
Like when I'm sleeping?
Yep.
Like when I'm watching football on Sundays?
Like when he's not cleaning the kitchen?
Like when I'm saying I'm sorry?
Yep.
Great.
Find homes first, tour homes fast. Want to win? Choose Redfin.
In a world controlled by gas, there's only one way out.
The Skill Power Core 40 yard equipment. It runs on advanced lithium battery technology, and it's just as powerful as your old gas equipment.
Oh, that's not growing back.
Don't be a gas zombie. Ditch the gas, keep the power. With Skill.
When Subway opened, they changed the fast food game. But sometimes you gotta refresh to be fresh. Welcome to the Eat Fresh Refresh. We got the... Wait, that's new.
Because we're refreshing the refresh.
What?
There's the new honey mustard chicken, the Subway Club, and the new Baja turkey avocado with...
New Baja Chipotle sauce?
Yep, they're constantly refreshing with better ingredients, better footlongs, and better spokespeople.
It's the Eat Fresh Refresh at Subway, and they're gonna keep refreshing and...
We love it when people visit us from out of town.
But when we fly ROA.
There's no loss that comes close in terms of heartache to the 96 Masters.
Have you watched this round?
Oh, goodness!
It's still the Eat Fresh Refresh at Subway, and they're refreshing everything, even their Italians.
Whoa, you talking Italians? Jimmy's gonna take it from here.
Refresh Italiano.
See, Subway now has Italian-style capicola, and you could try it on top of Bel Gioioso fresh mozzarella in the mozza meat, or stacked on 3 more Italian-style meats in the supreme meats. That's just like my Nonna makes when she cooks.
I don't cook.
Wait, what?
It's a good thing he's so handsome.
It's the Eat Fresh Refresh at Subway, and they're gonna keep refreshing and
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local economy. That's why when I fly ROA.
This is Roundup for Lawns. This stuff works. This stuff kills weeds down to the root without killing your lawn. This stuff works on dandelions, crabgrass, clover. This stuff works for up to 3 months. This stuff works guaranteed or your money back. This is Roundup for Lawns. This stuff works.
In a world controlled by gas, there's only one way out.
The Skill Power Core 40 yard equipment. It runs on advanced lithium battery technology, and it's just as powerful as your old gas equipment.
Ah! Oh, that's not growing back.
Don't be a gas zombie. Ditch the gas, keep the power. With Skill.
I got all cash here. Clear a path.
Offer deadline on Sherman Street in 1 hour.
40% over out here.
Oh, the housing market. Is it always like this? Kind of, but don't worry. Redfin updates listings every 5 minutes, and you can take a same-day tour. So I'll see homes first. Yep. Check it out. Dibs! Dibs! I got dibs! We will have to make an official offer. What? Find homes first, tour homes fast. Want to win? Choose Redfin.
Custom shirts help people feel like they're part of a team. My name is Timothy Chi, and I'm the CEO of Wedding Art. We're very proud customers of Custom Ink. We keep coming back to Custom Ink because of the quality of the product, the customer service, and the ease of use. That moment you walk in the office and people are wearing the same gear, you feel a sense of connectedness and belonging right away. And our shirts from Custom Ink help bring us together.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
One app, one tap, so stacked. A whole lot of everything. Now that's facts. Scores and stats make you wanna get that. It's
New York, the home side, Rochester, New York FC with that 2-1 lead over FC Motown here in the 3rd round of the U.S. Open Cup. What else is popping in U.S. Open Cup play? Let's take a look. We got it all for you guys. Madness running wild in the U.S. Open Cup as it always does. Last night, certainly, Gary, you and I were on the call for that Detroit City FC Columbus Crew match, and that was just one of many maddening matches that were going on.
Oh, it was an incredible vibe there in Detroit at that stadium. Wonderful to experience that. And from 1-0 down, they came back to beat Columbus Crew, and Chicago Fire also getting knocked out last night.
Absolutely, they did. FC Tucson fell to Cal United Strikers FC. San Jose Earthquakes, so on the other side of the gamut, they took care of business. A big 5-0 win. Action currently underway. One other match going on right now besides ours here. 26-minute Richmond Kickers, North Carolina Fusion U23, the only other amateur side still alive here in the U.S. Open Cup. They are scoreless in the 26th minute. As we said, the rest of tonight, some blue bloods, I guess you could say, Gary, in action.
Oh, there's some fantastic games. Look at Orlando City, Tampa Bay Rowdies. Tampa Bay have been a wonderful USL side, so be careful, Orlando City. Down the bottom, Los Angeles LAFC up against Orange County, who are the reigning USL champions. Phoenix Rising, New Mexico United, that's an all USL clash. And then later on this evening, we'll be doing Real Salt Lake up against Northern Colorado Hailstorm. That's a new side that actually beat Colorado Springs Switchbacks. So a big surprise there.
Let's check out the highlights from the first 45 minutes of play. Quality goals scored by Rochester, New York FC.
Yeah, Dolabella tucks this one away beautifully. But look at the dummy there from Gibran Rayo. And that allows Dolabella to get the better of Jean Voltaire, who possibly was tricked a little bit by the dummy. Then this, I thought they'd overhit this one. And this is where Rayo puts his head up, finds Dolabella, who immediately gets it to Inelin. And he sticks it in the back of the net. Good play, intelligent play. I thought there was overhit there, but he just recycles it here. Rayo finds Dolabella, who immediately, first touch into the big number 9, back of the net. And just when I was thinking, wow, they're on top here, they bounced back superbly, did FC Motown. Ball in there to Duca, and he slots this one. He goes to hit it with his right. Have a look at the ball in from Ryan Peterson. Goes to hit it with his right. The two defenders sort of half read it. He opens up a gap with his left and smashes it past Philip Ejimadu.
And that would get FC Motown right back into this match. Interesting number, FC Motown outshooting Rochester, New York FC. And Gary, look, I would say as far as those numbers are concerned, I would say overall FC Motown had the better of it just in terms of numbers and percentages of the first 45, but Rochester, New York FC had the more dangerous opportunities, and they cashed in.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I would have thought it was Rochester who looked the more dangerous, yet expected goals, this might surprise you, 0.62 to Rochester, 0.65 to Motown. So in terms of who had the better chances, just slightly favoring FC Motown. And I thought it's the feeling of the first half was that it was Rochester's game that they controlled a bit more. So maybe FC Motown are a surprising side.
The judges are split, Gary, I guess you could say, if we check the cards right now. But luckily it's out there right now. We do know what the scoreboard is as you get a look at Pedro Dolabella. He had a goal, he had an assist. He certainly was the difference maker and has been the straw that stirs the drink. And we do get a substitution. Zach Perez comes in for Mike DeFont to start things off.
That might have been the punch that Mike DeFont took from the keeper early on, if you remember. He got a bit dazed. I'm not surprised because he got hit really hard. With a punch in the head.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention
Perez
please.
played for the Richmond Kickers in USL League One back in 2019.
Is going in for number 2.
So close the book on Mike DeFont for the evening. We're into the evening now, right? Yes, we are. Okay, that's fair to say. In the second half, underway here at Monroe Community College in Rochester, New York. Neil Rule, former Manchester United English national team keeper Gary Bailey here with you. Happy to have you with us as U.S. Open Cup madness continues. Tons of fun here today. William Inelin. There's a shot and a big stop is made right off the break here in the second half. And now FC Motown looking for the counter.
Well, as we said at the end of the first half, we could be treated to something very special here, because this Motown side, for a team that haven't even got their season going, that are amateurs, who don't get to train a lot, they put in a very spirited and impressive first half against these talented, slightly younger players of Rochester, New York. I just don't know if they can keep it going. That'll be my big question, and I'm sure that's what Bruno Baltazar said to his Rochester players. Guys, move the ball about, make them run. They won't have the fitness levels you have in the last 10-15 minutes. You can run them ragged.
This
remains to be seen if that's going to be the case.
What will the score be at that time? That's another
That's
question as well. As Dilly Duca here will serve a corner. He has the goal. I'd like to set one up here, and a beautiful bending corner kick. But Ejimado goes down to the turf as the foul is called.
Again, good to see players on both sides helping him up. Joe Fowler. It's Joe Fowler who goes into him.
We got parallel on the landing.
There was no elbows or anything nasty at all, but he landed heavily, and Joe Fowler goes back and helps him to his feet. And again, the experience of Motown and the players, the fact they're older players, you know, the rough stuff. Older players know it works. You can work on a young goalkeeper's psychology. Ejimado, only 22 years of age. You knock him around a little bit. Maybe he starts to misjudge a few in the air. That would be the thinking anyway of the FC Motown players.
Gary, that's another reason why it's good to have you on the call, because I can ask you these questions. Does that weigh on you? You know, as it gets physical with the corners and the mixing bowl and all the activity, do you begin to think about that after a time?
It's hard not to. I mean, I've been in that situation hundreds of times where, as a young player at United, you got hit left, right, and center early on in the game because they wanted to rough you up and see how you responded. And it's very difficult not to keep an eye on those forwards afterwards when you've been hit hard. But that's what Ejimaru's got to do, not worry about where Joe Fowler is.
Well, Inalin sends that ball into the top of the D. There's some space in the shot, and it's handled easily by Grezhik. He's looking to outlet. He wants to go. Booms it down the pitch. Duca tries to back heel it. Unable to attain it, as Jallo does. Now back and forth we go. Rayo, side of the 18. His cross in, just out of the reach of Batiz. And Rochester, New York FC nearly connected.
That's a lovely ball into the box. It's a ball that asks all sorts of questions. And Jesus Batiz at the far post, they're just unable to get on Rayo's cross. But there's a couple of white shirts all threatening there, and that's what you want to do with cup football. Sometimes you don't have the pleasure of being able to play the game exactly the way you want. It's about getting balls in danger areas, trying to overturn balls on the edge of the opponent's box. And because it's not about pretty football, it's about getting a result and getting through to the next round. And that sort of ball knocked in there by Gibran Rayo, who's been really, really good player in this match and in previous games. That's what Rochester, New York are looking for.
Baltazar looking on. Anxious moments for him. It always is when you're the coach. There's never any rest, it seems.
The official medical provider for the Rochester NYFC.
Roland coming up here for FC Motown.
When we spoke to Bruno Baltazar, we said, will there be celebrations tonight if you get through? He said, nope, no way. If we get through, and it's a big if, he said, but if we get through, we've got a match Saturday. We need to focus straight away. He said there'll be nobody going out and getting overly excited. Well, I don't know. Good luck keeping the players in if they get a good result here, because they'll start to dream of drawing one of the big MLS teams.
Says every manager ever that wins a match in the U.S. Open. That's how they're programmed. That's what they do. Throw-in coming up, and in the meantime, down in some pain is Samuel Pompey. Will there be a booking?
Seems to be a lot of.
Oh, there's a red.
It's Batista, who was on a yellow already, I think.
This will change everything.
Well, he's calling him back. Maybe he got a mistaken identity, or maybe the linesman saying that it wasn't a yellow card offense.
We will try to get this all sorted out. So that is the word. Batista picking up his second yellow, and this will change everything in this match. Rochester, New York FC now with 10 men the rest of the way.
He did seem to be calling him back, and the players were arguing as if it wasn't. They're saying it, and I'm guessing here, but it almost looks like they're saying it wasn't Lamar Batista who
has been issued by the referee to Rochester number 15.
Lamar Batista waiting to see what the outcome of the discussion
51st minute of the game.
But we said again, didn't we say earlier, when you got the first yellow, now you're in trouble as a defender. You don't want to give away a cheap yellow, which Lamar Batista did. Batista's coming back to see whether he can still persuade him. He's coming back to give. So it looks like the decision's made. Batista's off.
Wow. So business picking up here at Monroe Community College in Rochester, New York, as Lamar Batista scoops up that second yellow.
Well, a shake of hands from some of the players saying tough one. Oh, there was a bit of a foot out from Lamar Batista. And when we were talking about him earlier, I said, you know, sometimes players don't make it at the top because of temperament. And that was when you're on a yellow. I mean, it's not a clever thing to do to begin with, but when you're on a yellow, his manager will not be happy. Bruno Baltazar will have to have a discussion with him and say, you cannot do that. Football intelligence is about not getting yourself into trouble. And that was a silly kick out from Lamar Batista, the captain of the side. Now it's 10 against 11.
And I'm with you, Gary, because there was no threat.
Yeah.
There was no threat at the time. There was no goal threat. And Batista now picking up that red and changing the entire landscape of this match. Just under 38 minutes left.
He seems genuinely hurt, Sammy Pompey. It wasn't like he was just lying there for effect trying to get a player sent off. He's
missing time right now. Yeah. So for the time being, we will go 10v10. Duca, good cross to the back. Ejimato makes the stop. It's loose inside the 18. Duca shot goes wide of the frame. Boy, Dilly Duca almost had a brace and almost leveled this match. And FC Motown wastes no time.
Some great skills there from Duca out wide before he crossed that ball. And Ejimadu with a fantastic save. Duca's got some talent because that wasn't far off from a very, very tight angle. And now with the extra man, you suddenly start looking at FC Motown and thinking, is this going to be their season? They could be the only amateur team left if they should win this. Only amateur team left in the next round.
Ladies and gentlemen, a substitution from Rochester.
A real change with
number
that
2.
Sending off of Batista.
Gerardo Lopez is going in for number 10.
Lopez will come into the match.
In the 54th minute of the game.
Lopez has had a lot of mileage, a lot of minutes played as of late. Played 90 minutes against New England Revolution 2, 90 minutes against St. Louis City. But he is back out there. Gabriel Costa comes out. So Bruno Baltazar, maybe his hand forced a little bit, playing now with 10 men.
Yep, very much so. I mean, he's lost a centre back, so he's got to bring in a defender. It's just tough if you're Gabriel Costa. I mean, you've done nothing wrong when your teammates does something silly and gets sent off and you get pulled off the pitch. But tactically, the coach had no choice. You have to find a defender to replace Batista. That really has swung this entire match and looks like there's some fresh legs coming on here, isn't it?
Rodrigo de Oliveira coming in. Ryan Peterson comes out. Johannes Pylers comes in.
2 substitutions have been made by Motown. Number 20.
Oh, fresh legs against 10 men.
Is going in for
this is
number
setting
6.
up to be a fantastic finish as Motown
10,
try and get themselves back
Federico
on level terms.
And is going in for number 22.
Healer's in, as we said.
I think Batista's teammates are going to thank him for putting them in this situation. They're going to have a tough 35 minutes or so to fight and to keep the score.
So as we said, the entire complexion of everything has changed within the last 3 minutes. Pielis in. Ryan Peterson comes out. And FC Motown will look to be on the front foot, I would imagine, pretty much the rest of the time here, playing with that man advantage.
Yeah, I'm bringing Federico Oliveira on as the man who scored the goal against Syracuse Pulse in the previous round. So he'll come on with fresh legs and fresh intent, and knowing that with the extra player, they can be on the front foot and attack Rochester, New York.
Rowan sent in to the 18. FC Motown able to keep the possession. Now can Rochester mount a counter? Dolabella's ball is picked off.
Look at they're closing down now. FC Motown, they weren't doing much of that up until recently, but they know they've got the extra player. They believe now they can definitely get something out of this match and going to keep on going.
Ball chipped ahead. Ellis was the target for it.
Yeah, at least look, they're putting balls into the box and asking questions of the Rochester defense. But again, if you're those defenders and you've lost Batista for a silly kick out, in fact, both yellow cards were silly, but the second one ridiculous. If you don't go through, you're going to have a few unkind words to say to him in the locker room afterwards, because at 2-1, you would think that they're in a good position, Rochester, to go on and win this, to control the match. Certainly got a good chance, but now this is a 50-50 game as to whether Rochester go through. And of course, if they do go through, he'll be suspended for the next round.
But I think that's a problem they would be happy to take right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
because there's some questions out there to be answered. As we move up towards the 60th minute. Neil Rule, Gary Bailey with you, former Manchester United English national team keeper. Happy to have you along on ESPN Plus, your home for the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. We're in the third round. And that whistle will go against Rochester, New York FC. Federico de Oliveira drawing the whistle.
Who, by the way, is a chemistry teacher. That's his full-time job, Freddy de Oliveira.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Played in the third division in Portugal. Some space on that right side. Cross sent in. Knocked up in the air. Pompey made a bid. All 10 men for FC Motown, all pushing forward. This is the scene you will see pretty much the rest of the way. Ball sent in, that got across, past Ejimato. It's played out. The old ABH clearance anywhere but here.
Yeah, that was a good cross in the box. It had the goalkeeper scrambling. Ejimati didn't know if these defenders were going to touch it or not, and in the end it was close.
There's another cross, the header on frame, and Ejimato makes the stop. That was beautiful service there. Pielis sent a nice cross in.
I think it was Jean Voltaire on the end of it, but here's the earlier cross. I tell you, there's players everywhere that in the end it's Ian Garrett who just hooks that away. And they're on the ropes a little bit here, Rochester, New York. They haven't been able to play their way out of their half from much of the last 10 minutes. I think he's putting his hands up saying, yeah, the ball came in, I maybe should have got something on it. But this is perhaps the quality and the danger in allowing FC Motown back into this match is they have players who've played at a very high level, possibly haven't got the legs to run. But if they can get possession like this, they can cause you all sorts of problems.
Beautifully cut out. Now I think you'll see Rochester, New York FC a little more deliberate with their throws when the ball goes out, right? Size things up a little more.
Yeah, they've got to try and keep possession. Let's see how they do now with Dolabella.
Slots one ahead. And that ball works its way through. Rayo inside the 18. Rayo curls it back post. Nobody there. Oh, and that ball's played out over the line by Voltaire, and there will be a corner for Rochester, New York FC.
Voltaire wasn't quite sure who was behind him, so he just didn't take any chances. By the way, Jean Voltaire, a truck driver in his normal day activities, so credit to these players here who do their full-time job and then have to try and play soccer in the evenings.
Batiste is taking the scenic, taking in the sights a little bit as he makes his way over to the corner. You got to line everything up, right? Check the wind a little. You know how this works. Here we go. Penalties whips it in. That got all the way around. And all the way through. Reese makes a move. Brilliant move by Reese. Reese, back heel attempt is played off the line. Beautiful setup by Rochester, New York FC. That was nearly a highlight goal.
Wow, Innerland with that. If that had gone in, that would have been shown on all sorts of soccer programs for a long time. Oh, late tackle there. That's a yellow card. Yeah, tell you what, it's getting close to red coming in that late.
It was very late, as you said.
It was Gustavo Reese, was it, who got
it was. So that's his first yellow.
A yellow card caution has been issued to Rochester, number 23.
He's turned his body as well, so it's a little bit
Reese
nasty.
in the 63rd minute of the game.
Hasn't been any nasty. There's been hard tackles only until that one there.
Oliveira pays the price.
He's a chemistry teacher. He can find a couple of substances to take away the pain, I'm sure.
Maybe even concoct his own. Who knows, right?
You're not looking at Breaking Bad, are you?
No, that I just got to put it out there that Gary Bailey went that level on his own accord, everybody. Here's Pompey with it. He'll send a cross in. That made its way through.
I think it's just to give so much credit to these FC Motown players. That as amateurs and part-timers, they're able to play so well. And I mean, they really are giving Rochester and New York a massive run for their money.
Now some more discussion for the referee.
Yeah, it's a keeper. Dave Gretschik comes out and flaps at that one. But when it comes back in, Innerland tries a little back heel. Oh, a little bit of magic there as well from Reese. But look at the back heel coming up from the big number 9. Look at that. Magic kicked off the line. If that had gone in, as like I say, that would have been shown many, many times over in highlight reels.
So now a throw-in coming for Rochester, New York FC. And they will take their time. Get a substitution.
A substitution
Marcus
for
Hackett
Motown.
comes in.
Number 13, Marcus Hackett is going in for number 24, Hermanis
After Camp comes out.
in the 65th minute of the game.
So Marcus Hackett, who is an assistant coach at William Patterson University. Checks into the match. Throw in towards the corner. The ball kept in along the line.
Yeah, some fresh legs on for Motown, and again, just to make the point, their season hasn't even started. So for them, they'll be feeling it a bit more than probably Rochester will.
Corner will be awarded.
Don't want to go down 3-1 Motown just when they've got a chance against 10 men to get an equalizer, so they'll have to focus in their defense. There's so many big players in this Rochester side that everyone's going to have to mark up really tight.
Penalties surveys the scene. He'll send it in with the left foot. It's knocked down inside the 18. Ping-ponged around a bit. Can FC Motown create a counter? They will try, but it's taken away.
And I've got to say, for this Rochester side, they do have some history. They are a new franchise in one respect, and they do play in the MLS Next Pro, but the history going back to the previous version of Rochester is they actually won this tournament back in 1999 as Rochester Rhinos. That's probably one of the only times I can think of when a lower league team, certainly in recent history, has won it. So
tickets can be purchased at RNYFC.com.
They are the last non-MLS team to win. They've also won a record 17 straight opening round matches. And that was not lost on Bruno Baltazar. When we talked to him, he was very mindful of it. They know. They feel a lot of pressure, certainly in that Lansdowne-Yonkers match, to get the win and move on to keep that status. Longest running winning streak in the opening round, 17 in a row.
Well, imagine if they can win this, and there's still a long way to go, but they're 2-1 up, and they get a decent draw in the next round, and they could possibly be on their way to a quarterfinal match, and maybe start to relive the 1999 year.
Had to be confident. That ball came back. Marcus Hackett had to make the play because there was going to be trouble if he didn't. Throw-in coming up. North Carolina Fusion U23 scoreless with the Richmond Kickers. That ball sent up to Ejimato. They are at the half. The other amateur side in play here in the U.S. Open Cup.
And of course, if this is level at the end of normal time, there will be extra time and penalties if necessary. And that's the last thing I think Motown, FC Motown want when you haven't started your season and you're not fit to have to go into extra time. But of course, they've got the advantage of having one extra player.
And again, I think that's a problem they would gladly sign up for right now.
Yep, they would do.
So Ejimato force the run out. Challenge. So we can now pick it up. We can move on. I'll say this, Rochester, New York FC has done a very good job, I think, Gary, of kind of grinding this match to a halt with the corners and the throws and just doing all those little things.
Yeah, they've lost a bit of their fluency and ability to attack. And look at this pressing. You see, this is the problem.
De Oliveira with it. De Oliveira lets it go, but Ejimato was waiting for it.
They've got extra players now, so they're on the front foot, FC Motown. They're doing the high pressing that Rochester was doing first half. And that sort of fluency that Rochester had, that little air of confidence is just dissipating a little bit. And like you say, I think they're almost thinking, well, okay, well, we're going to just have to defend our way out of this problem. I'll go back to Batista again. You know, if a player gets sent off because they were, there's a yellow card come out here for one of the Rochester players.
Boubacar Jallo, I believe, will be the guilty party here in the 70th minute. So the yellow cards really accumulating right now for Rochester, New York, and of course they're already feeling the effects of it. Lamar Batista got 2 of them.
Let's have a look and see why he got the yellow. A little bit of a follow through with the left foot in that tackle. So I assume that what is for. There's a kick there from Oliveira. I think he kicks more of the ground than the ball, which is why it doesn't bother Ejimato so much. But just getting back to Batista, you know, if you get 2 yellows for stopping someone who's through one-on-one with the goalkeeper or genuinely going for a tackle and slightly mistiming it, yeah, you understand that it's still not great, but you understand it. But both these yellows, especially the second, just kicking out at a player when you're really on a yellow, I can't understand it. He's put his teammates in trouble, and I've no doubt that Bruno Baltazar is going to have a serious word with Batista after this game, especially if they don't go on to win it.
With the receive of the pass, his cross makes its way through, and it's fired over top of the frame. A quality opportunity. Ellis missed it.
What a chance. Great skills out wide to create the ball. Look at this there. Brilliant, brilliant skills. Ball gets whipped across by Pompey. 6 yards out. Bielis, you've got to hit target from there. Got to get over the ball, but play out wide from Nolin Saint-Ville and Sammy Pompey was just fantastic.
Edward Williams will make his way into the match for the first time. Williams from England. He's actually on loan from the Doncaster Rovers in the Rochester, 3rd division.
Number 8. Edward Williams going in for number 11. Jesus Batiz in the 72nd minute of the match.
Batiz's evening comes to an end.
get many better chances than they had a moment or two ago. FC Motown. Wow, some beautiful football played out wide from this amateur side. I mean, give them credit. They have been absolutely fantastic in this match.
Samuel Pompey. De Oliveira gets it, makes a run. St. Ville. Ville's pass. Boom down the pitch. FC Motown will have to recalibrate, do it all over again. Fala able to chip it ahead, but Ejimadu comes off the line. 74th minute. 2-1, Rochester, New York FC with the lead over FC Motown. We're at Monroe Community College in Rochester, New York. Lamar Hunt, U.S. Open Cup third round action. My name is Neil Rule, my broadcast partner, former Manchester United and English national team keeper Gary Bailey. Happy you are with us. As you see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, Rochester, New York playing with 10 men. Lamar Batista scooped up his second yellow card in the 51st minute. So far, Rochester, New York has been able to hold down the fort, but these are nervous moments for that man, Bruno Baltazar. Offside flag is up. You could see it, Gary. You could see it in his face. This next 18 minutes plus can't end quick enough.
And it's good high pressing by FC Motown. They've been pushing numbers into this half, into Rochester's half, making it difficult for them to play out, having to go long to try and beat this press. And they're winning the 50-50s as well, FC Motown. So yeah, they've had a little bit of, I wouldn't call it good fortune, but things going their way with the sending off, although it was self-inflicted by Batista. But they've had a few good chances. Tuca's had some magic moments. And the chance for Pieles a few minutes back, 5 minutes ago. Wow, if they go on to lose this, Motown will look back at that chance and go, that was the moment. Because then at 2-2, with the extra man, they really are on the front foot. Right now, they're, as you say, I think they'll take extra time just to get level. Whereas Rochester, New York, just look at they're playing defensive now. They can see 15 minutes on the clock, try and play it out and walk off with the win, get into the draw, which takes place tomorrow.
Community College for being our official host this season for all home games.
There'll be no Columbus Crew, beaten by Detroit last night. There'll be no Chicago Fire. There's a few big teams out already.
Of course, the rest of the book still waiting to be written tonight. New York Red Bulls with a 2-0 lead against Hartford. Flag go up, I believe.
I'm guessing either of these two teams would love to play Red Bulls, bearing in mind all their connections and how many players grew up in the Red Bulls academy or have played at some stage for Red Bulls. So, wow, wouldn't that be a draw for either of these teams?
And that would be one of those matches, Gary, where it's personal, where it becomes deeply personal. If you're a player out there on the pitch,
yeah,
it's a little extra in that one.
Well, that possibly awaits the winner of this match. And that's going to be driving FC Motown forward, and it's going to be driving Rochester to defend their lead.
Samuel Pompey will work it towards the middle. FC Motown needs to break down this Rochester, New York FC side. Don't forget, New York City FC enters the fray as well.
Yes, in the next round. So, wow, wouldn't that be a draw for either of these two teams? No wonder they're fighting so hard.
Pompey tosses it in quickly. The ball works its way through. Pass sent in. Ejimado comes off the line. And foul will go against FC Motown. Merlin St. Ville laying it all on the line.
His body's going to need a rest after today. He's taken a few knocks. He's had a number of occasions when he's had to sit down for recovery.
And you know, Gary, 2-1 in the 78th minute, you're down. If you're on that turf, you're hurt. Like you are hurting because time is a commodity that's not on your side right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they're running out of players to bring off the bench. And the coach probably thinks that Nerlens St. is one of those that can break through against this Rochester defense.
Chipped up to the left side. Rayo. It's his move. Rayo goes down. Was a penalty awarded? They're pointing to the spot.
I think you're right. I think he has given the penalty. Didn't seem, well, let's not say it didn't seem anything in it. Let's have a look at it again and decide. But
and this is a huge call. All the way out in the left corner of the box as Rayo was making his way in. And Pompey with the challenge.
Well, he has nudged him in his back, and credit to Rayo. He played this perfectly. He got between the defender and the ball, and there was contact in the back. And at the end of the day, I think the referee's right. He's given it as a penalty, but it's a silly penalty to give away.
Will and Allen will line this thing up. This could really put a hurting on FC Motown. And Allen looking for the brace. Greshik needs to come through for his side in the 79th minute. And Allen, the approach. And the stop is made by Greshik. The rebound put across. And it's cleared out. Big time stop by David Greshik.
Fantastic save for the goalkeeper. Picks the right way, pushes the ball away from danger area. Now they're on the counter attack.
Here comes the counter. Fala stepping through. Played away from him. Duca makes a run at it. Ejimato will escort that one over the line, but it will be a corner for FC Motown.
Look at that. Picks the right way, gets his arm down to the ground, gets the strength, and then it gets knocked back in by Dolabella, but there's no one there to pounce on it. What a let-off for the man who gave the penalty away, Sammy Pompey. Can thank his goalkeeper later because they're still in this match, our FC Motown.
80th minute. Back and forth we go. Dilly Duca will line this corner up. Sends it towards the box. It's headed down at the top of the 18. Played back out. That shot will go over top of the bar by Nerlens St. Ville.
Goalkeeper Dave Grechik, a plumber by trade. I guess the joke has to be that he's doing a great job between the pipes. But what a fantastic save it was. And let's be fair, Rochester have got themselves in a bit of a mess here. They've got a penalty, a chance to almost kill the game and score 3-1 with 10 minutes to go. They don't finish it off. They have their captain sent off, Batista, for 2 silly yellows. And here they are having to defend for their lives. I think ultimately they've been given enough chances to have wrapped this up.
And Gary, I don't care what anybody says. Sometimes it's okay to take the low-hanging fruit. Like, you can do that in my book. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that at all. But that is the glory of the U.S. Open Cup, isn't it? I mean, that sentence alone, that is the glory of it.
Plumber in goals, blocking the leaks, call it whatever you want. I mean, it's brilliant.
Alberto serves that one up towards the corner of the box. Now it's played out. Rochester, New York FC trying to hold on. Had a chance to put the hammer lock on this, but new life given to FC Motown. Can they take advantage? Stepping through. Ball served over. And Allen makes a move. The flag is up on the far touchline.
It just shows you how good in transition they can be at Rochester.
Here we come the other way. That ball sent into the box. And Fala played it over top. Was it deflected? It was.
Here's this previous move. A great run up the pitch here. Absolutely fantastic. Played into Innerlin. Is Rayo offside when he goes to play it? Yep,
yes,
just offside. But wonderful move in transition by Rochester, but then they get exposed at the other end, and Joe Fowler nearly gets a shot on target. So they're getting a little bit stretched, Rochester.
Corner Nervous. That's flicked on. It's a cross, but the whistle. And the play is stopped before. It was another dangerous ball sent in. And I'll say this, too, about FC Motown. You can call them an amateur side if you want. They have been quality on corners, on free kicks, set pieces. They have sent some beautiful balls up towards the frame.
They have, and they've looked really fantastic at certain moments. Have a look again at the full-time plumber, the part-time goalkeeper, making another fantastic save, Dave Gretschik. And here's some more changes. This is the rolling of the dice here.
Aiden Cirolo comes in. Cirolo in. That is the final substitution available as Voltaire comes out.
In for number 30, in the 83rd
Cirolo in. It is college soccer at LaSalle. He's the team's second leading scorer his senior year. As that whistle goes against FC Motown.
Well, they'll talk about this in amateur football, this performance by FC Motown. It really has been amazing that they're still in this game, because that penalty really should have seen them down. And Rochester, man for man, they're a fitter team, you would think. They've got a better experience at the highest level, and yet this amateur side have just put on a show here. And they're still alive with 7 or 8 minutes to go.
Keep in mind, too, not your typical amateur side in FC Motown. Gretschik, who made the stop, former draft pick of Sporting Kansas City, the 2017 MLS Super Draft. Played matches for the Swope Park Rangers. Reese playing on a yellow card, touches that ball ahead. Turning with it, Kian Alberto. He's been very good on set pieces, and this could be a booking. Is that another red card? It is! Given to Dolabella.
Wow, what a moment, down to 9 men.
And that was off the rip, too. That was a straight red.
What are they doing here, Rochester, New York? It's just self-imploding. 2 red cards, a missed penalty. Let's have a look and see exactly what happened here.
This had to have been egregious, right?
Has been issued to Rochester number 5.
Swipe at the back of the head.
The 85th minute
I thought they just bumped into each other, but the referee was right there. Have a look. Is there an elbow up? Let's have a look. The elbow's right. The referee's right there, and he sees a swinging elbow, and he has no doubt whatsoever. And to be fair to Oliveira, he just hits the deck. So if this was a swinging elbow, it's another silly moment from Rochester, New York. And what a time to do it. 2-1 up with 5 minutes to go.
Wow. Rochester, New York FC now playing with 9 men.
Part owner Jamie Vardy will be watching this, and he takes enough kicks and knocks every game. You don't see him responding and getting sent off. So he will not be a happy part owner. But let's see if they can hang on, Rochester, New York. If they get the result, it'll be amazing. With just 9 men now, everybody back.
Now we have a whistle on the other side of the pitch. Not quite sure what the issue is now. So substitutions coming for Rochester. Raymond Dry looks like he will be coming in.
I guess they just need fresh legs so they can run them into the ground last 5 minutes, because with 9 men, wow, there's going to be gaps everywhere. They're just going to have to defend for everything they've got.
Milan Van Acker coming in as well. Enelin coming out as well. So you know what this is, Gary. This is batting down the hatches.
That's it. Bring off the 2 strikers and the 4-2 forward men. Bring on some lads who will work their socks off in midfield and in defense, and just hold on to that lead.
I gotta believe we're gonna get a great deal of stoppage time as well. Multiple red cards, lots of yellow cards, more cards in an Uno deck. Yeah, injuries as well.
This is the drama of the cup, isn't it? This is where players have to manage their emotions, and that's where the football intelligence comes in. And it's the cup that gets you over the edge. It's the cup that overexcites you sometimes, and we've seen it here tonight with 2 red cards. Players who might otherwise be a lot more relaxed, suddenly they smell the possibility of cup success.
St. Ville goes to Pompey. That's sent into the box. Now it's played away, at least temporarily.
That was a good ball in the box as well. Again, asking questions.
Service into the box again. That's headed out. But everybody forward for FC Motown in the 89th minute. Right now, stoppages would be the friend of Rochester, New York FC. They want balls to go out of bounds, across the line. They want goal kicks. One headed away. That's exactly what they want. Ball just pinged back out towards midfield. And Alberto.
With the white shirts just all retreating, saying you can have the ball there. We're going to draw a line at our third.
That ball trickles towards the goal line. See Motown able to catch up to it. Alberto to the left side. Cross in, before that a whistle, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Rochester, New York FC. They will take their time, no doubt, in this restart. 90th minute. Neil Rule, Gary Bailey with you. If you're just joining us, where you been? 2-1. Rochester, New York FC with the lead over FC Motown. Rochester playing with 9 men. Batista, Dolabella out with reds.
And they had a penalty, Rochester. And
yeah, you forget all this stuff that's going on.
Dave Gretschik made a fantastic save to keep FC Motown in it, the amateur side. So one of the players down there.
Ian Garrett, the one that's down. So we will move to There's a great look. Nerlens St. Ville stretching out the opponent, saying, hey, we want to get this rolling.
Yeah.
5 minutes of stoppage time.
5 crucial minutes for 11 men against 9 men. But all Rochester have to do is just get this ball down the other end of the pitch, keep it away from their keeper, try and keep some possession. As you say, try and win a free kick and slow things down.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 4th official on the field has signaled that there will be 5 minutes.
And when you lose it, drop back nice and quickly and get into defensive positions.
Nerlens St. Ville, who can be the hero here for FC Motown? Pompey makes a turn. His cross, partially deflected, headed in the air. Just banged over the line. That'll be the play the rest of the way. Just turn and burn for Rochester, New York FC. Doesn't matter where it goes as long as it's not there. Beautiful curling ball sent in, and the ball is put in the back of the net, and we are level at 2. Joseph Fala.
What a fantastic ball in from Kian Alberto. Yet again, that bending ball. Look how this bends. Bends away all the way, and Joe Fala goes there. The keeper knocks it onto the post, but he follows it up. He's come close a few times. He's been threatening in that box, but eventually a ball in, and it's a fantastic ball, and he gets his just rewards. And down to 9 men, what can you expect? They were running out of numbers, Rochester, New York. FC Motown have done it. The amateurs have drawn level just before the end of time.
In the 92nd minute.
Assistant number 16, Kian Alberto.
Joseph Fala does it for FC Motown.
Now you've got to ask the question, with extra time looming, with only 9 men on the pitch, how are Rochester going to survive this now?
That That whistle will go against FC Motown. Here's the opportunity. I think now if you're Rochester, New York FC, Gary, this is an opportunity for you to maybe try to steal this lead back.
Yeah, it's a set piece in a difficult, well, in a decent position rather. If you put a difficult ball in there for the defense to deal with, very similar to what we've seen from Kian Alberto for FC Motown, bending balls in. Let's see what happens here from Edward Williams. You bend that in, and maybe you give one or two of your big boys a chance, as you say, to score a glory winner, because if they go into 30 minutes of extra time with just 9 men, they're going to really struggle, Rochester.
Williams service towards the back post. Headed down, right foot shot goes over top of the bar. Boy, Ankenridge gave it a go.
That was what they wanted, didn't they? They wanted something to drop so they could have a shot. It's very, very high. It's lofted up. And it drops for Ankenridge and just doesn't keep it down. Not that far out as well. If he keeps that down, he's got every chance of making the goalkeeper work. So are we in for even more late drama here?
Three and a half minutes in. Hackett. Pompey, his cross. That works its way through towards the top of the D. Making the move, leaving it off. Pompey again. We'll cross it one more time. That's headed and flicked away. Turn and burn clear to Rochester, New York. Quick throw in here, I think, for FC Motown. They will look to move forward quickly. Dying moments of this match. Rochester playing down 2 men. Again, Alberto's been dangerous with his service. Alberto heavy with the touch. He goes over the line, and that could do it. We could be headed to extra time.
Oh, good luck, Rochester, with 9 men with 30 more minutes of running around. I mean, it's almost impossible for them to play their way out of their own half with 9 men in total. That's eight outfield players. All he can do here, Eji Madu, is try and knock it along and see if they can pick up the loose ball, but they're going to have a tough time in this extra time, I would think, Rochester, New York.
And there is the whistle. And we will move towards extra time. 2 15-minute extra time sessions.
Wow, what a game. Amazing. 4 goals, 2 red cards, a penalty saved, and there's still 30 more minutes to go, and possible more penalties at the end of that. But I just don't see how Rochester stay alive for 30 more minutes, because with 2 men short, there's just almost no way you can come out of this in a positive sense, but time will tell.
Incredible match. We've seen everything as we take a look at the highlights. Rochester, New York FC back in the first half, all the way back in the first half, which seems like a lifetime ago with what's happened, but a big-time finish by Dolabella to get things rolling.
Fantastic finish, Pedro Dolabella. Brilliant, 1-0 up. Nice little dummy before that from Gibran Rayo, and then you'll see here the ball comes back to Dolabella from Rai. He finds Inalin back of the net. And at this stage, you're thinking, you know what, this is going to be a comfortable day for Rochester. They look good. They were playing some lovely football, moving it around. Quality finish here from Inalin. And to credit to FC Motown, they came back after this. Ryan Peterson with the ball knocked across here. Duca goes to hit it with his right. Dummies hits it with his left. And suddenly it's game on. 2-1. And then there was a sending off. Batista. There was opportunities. And then this silly penalty given away by Sammy Pompey on Rayo. And up steps Inalin. And a fantastic save from Dave Gretschik to keep his side alive. This save was vital. If he doesn't make the save, they would have gone out. But at 2-1, they just needed a late equalizer. And this beautiful ball in from Kian Alberto. Up goes Joe Fala. And it's a decent save initially from Philip Ejimadu comes off the post and he follows it in to make it 2-2.
So 2 15-minute periods will be played in full. Each side gets one additional substitute. And Subwidow granted for extra time. There is no golden goal. If we don't have a decision by then, we will go to penalties. But still, a tall mountain to climb for Rochester, New York FC, down 2 men. That will stay the same. So it'll be 11 v 9 the rest of the way in.
Crazy. But here's the thing, having had 2 red cards against them, Rochester, New York, what FC Motown mustn't do is do something silly where the ref gives them a red card or a second yellow, because it's not the referees try and balance it out, but you do something silly if you're FC Motown. Referee Chris Santano,
you're going to get the hammer.
You're going to get the hammer just because he's already sent 2 off from the other side. And
Ladies
so
and gentlemen,
if you're
we will
FC
now have
Motown,
2
don't
full
get baited,
15-minute halves of added
don't
extra
start
time.
raising hands and pushing, don't do any of that stuff. You're in control, you've got this match, you're on the verge, I would think, of going through to the next round because you have 2 extra players on the pitch. Just be sensible and professional, and because you have players who are 32 years of age, like Dilly Duca, players who've been there before. Sammy Pompey's 28, Marcus Hackett's 29. They're not youngsters. They've been in the game a long time. I think they'll know what to do in these situations. It's the younger players of Rochester, New York, who have blown up and got themselves sent off. I mean, Dolabella, what's he doing swinging that elbow and getting a red card? Having seen Batista sent off, you must be extra careful not to have any of your other players sent off, because then you're down to 9 men. It's soccer suicide from Rochester, New York.
So we are just about ready to rock here for the first session of extra time. All eyes be on Rochester, New York FC. They had a 2-0 lead in this match. Now we're in extra time and they're down 2 men. It is amazing how quickly the world can change.
That's why we love the beautiful game.
Right.
But if you look at the body language of FC Motown, they're all pumped up. A couple of seconds earlier, you can see here, there's no discussion going on amongst Rochester players. You know, there's a couple of shoulders drooping. They know they've got themselves a massive 30-minute battle coming up here.
So the coin toss coming up. Jalo with Dilly Duca of FC Motown. Duca, one of the goals here today.
It's hard to know what to expect next. We've had so much drama already. But logically speaking, you expect FC Motown to attack for 30 minutes, because with 2 extra players, I just don't see the Rochester have any choice but to defend in numbers. Maybe hope for a counter-attack, but you know, if you attack with too many players, you leave no one behind because you haven't got that many players on the pitch.
It's just one of those scenarios, Gary. I think right now, if you're Rochester, New York FC, if someone offered you penalties, you jump at it.
You'd snap their hands off. Absolutely, you would. And again, you're making the point, at 2-0 up, I'm looking at this going, this is a comfortable day at the office for Rochester.
Until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't. But credit to FC Motown. They came back, and that goal by Dilly Duca was what really changed everything. There he is on the ball there. But he brought them back to 2-1. And at 2-1, suddenly they were back in it. And you can see how it motivated FC Motown. And Rochester started to panic and do some silly things like get players sent off.
And there you see the impact, too, for Rochester, New York FC. You can't challenge on throws. You can't get out there and challenge because you just don't have enough men.
Yeah.
Long lash given. That one sent wide of the frame.
the facial expressions of Phila Ejimadu there. He's probably thinking, I've got a lot more of that to come in this next 30 minutes.
Pompey gave one a go.
Because at the end of the day, because you're 2 players short, you're going to mark everyone around the center of the box. But people from 25, 30 yards out, you're going to let FC Motown have the ball, and they're going to try and have some long-distance shots, you would expect.
Gerardo Lopez Sends it down the pitch. Ball bounces over the top of Duca's head. That is settled down. Ellis moved it up, and I believe the offside flag went up.
It looked like Hayden Creola there caught in an offside position. And what FC Motown have to be careful of here is not assuming that because they have 2 extra players they're going to win this. They have to be sensible. They have to move the ball quickly, have to make sure they don't get caught offside. They've got to do all the professional things in order to create the pressure that should result in a goal. If they just think it's going to happen because they've got 2 extra men, then probably not.
Rochester, New York FC taking their time. They want nothing more than 2 15-minute extra time sessions to come and go. Ball bounces through.
It's interesting how Joe Fowler's been moved back to a centre-back position. And they've brought on more players up front in Hayden Creola. And so the goal scorer with the second goal and the man who was a threat for a long time, spending more of his time now in defense.
And of course, because the front line of Rochester, New York FC has been erased. When you look at Inalen, who's come out of the match, when you look at Dolabella, who was sent out of the match, that was the core of your offensive attack here tonight. They figured in everything that went on. Well, they're not available.
Yeah, Gabriel Costa as well was an attacking threat. He had to be pulled off when Batista got sent off. Gibran Rayo as well, who's set up one of the goals, had to come off. So you're right, all the attacking threat is gone. You can see here the players in white are just sitting back saying, okay, you can have the ball. We're just going to have to work once you get into our final third.
That's what it is now. Duca makes his move. Duca still with it. The cross goes in, headed away. St. Ville makes a turn. That was blocked. Interesting to note, though, as we see Alberto trying to matriculate his way through. Still with it. Double team comes and they take it away. Interesting to see, Gary, that back line of FC Motown has dropped back a bit.
They have the extra numbers there, but they shouldn't really find themselves in any trouble, because once they get hold of the ball like this, the white shirts just start to drop back. They have to come back to make up the numbers. So it's very difficult for Rochester to attack. Let's have a look and see how they do it, because they've got one player there. Now, who does he play to? He can only play to the player he got the ball from, which he does. Not bad at all. But now they're struggling for numbers again. And the point is, the moment they lose possession, now they have to start tracking back. Straight away, you see Edward Williams has to get back.
I'll say this, though, the FC Motown players now, they've lost a bit of the juice, Gary, you can see. They're not moving up right away instantly like they were before.
Well, I think that psychologically they're almost thinking, okay, we have 2 extra players, we should win this. And that was the point I was making a few minutes ago. Yep. It doesn't mean you're going to win. You have to work hard. You have to expose the frailties now of Rochester in defense. And having said that, also you've got to ask the question, how fit are FC Motown? Their season hasn't started, so they could be gasping for air right now, not really have the ability to keep coming forward.
Oliveira plays it to Duca. Duca drops it off, tons of space. Alberto. Wing run. Service into the box. The header's over top of the bar. I believe that was De Oliveira. Got his head on it, but couldn't tuck it under the crossbar.
Tell you what, that's a good header for a small guy. He's got to the near post and he's out-jumped all the bigger defenders around him. He just couldn't quite direct it. Lovely ball coming in from out wide from Sammy Pompey. Have a look at the little man get up here. He's got big players around him. He's got massive Jacob Ackenridge was next to him and he out-jumped him.
Lopez. Lays it down. Now on that wing. And Acker laid it up ahead. It's just a tall, tall task. To do anything offensively, the strikers of Rochester, New York FC, they're going to have to beat a double team, maybe a triple team.
Look at Edward Williams. Look how hard he's having to work there. He's closing them down, keeping the ball in play. This is what happens. Normally when you go down to 10 men, the 10 men actually often play better than 11. The problem here is you're down to 9. But I mean, they know they have to work, Rochester, so they're running around. The players who have come on as subs know they have to do the extra work.
That ball toe poked ahead. Goes out of play. Throw-in coming up for FC Motown. They'll look to restart quickly. There's the toss in. Alberto's dangerous from there. Sends a ball in. Ball came up short. There's a cross that goes all the way through and out. So a goal kick coming up for Rochester, New York FC. And Gary, Rochester has done a good job here. I mean, just from the terms of FC Motown, certainly they had that header opportunity. But other than that, there hasn't been a ton of dangerous chances, at least what you would think for an 11v9 situation in extra time.
No, absolutely. They have done well. They've done what they needed to do, and they know they have to work hard. They know they have to defend well. They know that the players who've come on with fresh legs have to do extra running. What we're not seeing from Motown is them raising their game. And again, psychologically, it's difficult when you're against 9 men, but they have to maybe push an extra number forward. They've got a lot of defenders, but they can afford to maybe throw an extra 1 forward here. And say, okay, let's just keep the ball, let's push forward, we'll keep somebody quick at the back. But, you know, we need to go and win the game. And if they go to penalties and get knocked out, FC Motown, they'll look back at extra time and go, what, 11 versus 9, and we didn't get a winning goal? So they have to be brave. They have to be positive. You can't let this opportunity slide.
You see what I'm talking about there, Gary? Both defenders back towards the midfield line. They played with much more aggression when they were down 2. I mean, obviously the circumstances dictate that you have to. But here comes a move for St. Ville as he tried to matriculate his way through. He was cut off. Acker played that one up.
There'll be no rush to take this. Throw the ball down. Let somebody else come and take the throw in, work the clock down. Look, it's a good test for these younger players. I mean, if you're Bruno Baltazar, the coach, yes, you're going to have a lot of words to say about the 2 Reds. Make no mistake. I wouldn't want to be Dolabella or Batista in the locker room after this game, especially if they lose. But you've also seen the other 9 players rising to the challenge and showing their maturity and their football intelligence and their commitment.
Here comes St. Ville on the right side, trying to make his way through again. FC Motown will keep it. Pompey on that right side as he's been all night long. Pompey again. Over 100 minutes into this one. Ball threaded ahead. St. Ville tried to drop it off, but Pompey could not.
You can see it's calling out to FC Motown. They could be the last amateur side left, depending on other results tonight. And they could be up against one of the big New York MLS teams. It's there. The dream is waiting for them.
All sent in. That's headed away. But it comes right to Alberto. Alberto leaves it off. And that ball played away. Pielis sends it in towards the 6. That ball's loose. Fallout came over. Couldn't do anything with it. Wow. Corner will be awarded as the temperature continues to drop in Rochester. Feels like 36 degrees now.
Ooh, that is chilly. That ball just a few moments ago bouncing around the box nearly fell for Dilly Duca.
By Rochester Regional Health.
You just feel that there's every chance that FC Motown are going to get something. They keep putting the ball in the box. Something's got to fall for them.
Deli Duca sends it in. That one's headed away. Alberto. Ball comes free at the top of the D. De Oliveira had a chance for a second. Here's Duca with it. 1v1, he's dangerous. Makes his move, cuts back, left foot shot goes over top of everything.
Did so well there, Deli Duca. He knew what he was going to do. He feinted with that right foot exactly as he did when he got the opening goal. Came back on his left foot and just couldn't. He was aiming for that top corner. Have a look at this bit of skill. There's a fighting for the ball. Comes to Deli Duca here. He's going to go with the right. He's going to feint, come back on the left. And he's just trying to sneak it in that top corner and doesn't quite hit target.
Boy, how good is Duca in tight spaces, though, especially inside that 18.
Fantastic. But at age 32 now, he's obviously probably seen his best years behind him, but he could be the man as captain of this side. If they do get a result here tonight, he could be the man to lead them into a historic match in the 4th round against one of the MLS giants.
Duca certainly an MLS veteran. 100 matches played during his MLS career. Played the most with the Columbus Crew back in 2010 to 2012. Played 45 matches for them, 47 for the Fire.
They're both out. I'm just thinking, if he wanted to meet with these old teams, they both went out last night, Columbus Crew and Chicago Fire.
Well, he also played for the New York Red Bulls.
Well.
They're still in there. Montreal Impact as well. A couple of stints with Columbus Crew.
That's what Bruno Baltazar of Rochester was saying before, and he says a lot of players who played at a very high level in this Motown team.
De Oliveira with it, makes his move, his cross smothered and cleared. It was the best case scenario for Rochester, New York FC. Tons of space for FC Motown as Hackett plays that ball up ahead. And that will go across the line. Goal kick awarded.
Last minute of play and a half.
And the clock is ticking though for FC Motown. They will never get a better chance to get to the 4th round than playing against a team with 2 players less. And they have to just get a little bit braver. I mean, they've been trying, in fairness to them. They have been getting balls in there, but they're going to have to increase that pressure, especially in the second part of extra time.
I like that point by you, talking about bring an extra attacker up there.
Yeah, push Joe Fowler back up again, the big man. He scored the goal by getting on the end of a header. You can see him in the middle of your picture there, number 7. I'm saying push him up, put someone small and quick at the back that you don't necessarily need there the whole time. Here's the magic man with his left foot, Kian Alberto. Wow, has he been good.
That ball comes free. Vanaker is 1v3 as he steps back. Clock working against him, however. Dry tries to make a move. He goes down. Played over the line, and that should about do it.
Some tackles flying in, and Rochester, when they do get the ball, so clever to try and hold it up and bring other players in. But all those players who ran up are not going to get themselves back again.
There is the whistle. First extra time has come and gone. We are still level. Rochester, New York FC survives the first extra time session, playing with 9 men. Yes, 9. Like Ferris Bueller absences. 9.
Well, they did well in this first part of extra time. No question about that, Rochester. And I'm sure that those sitting on the bench, such as Will Innerlin, who had the penalty, if that goes in, it would have been 3-1, and you would think match over. He's probably wishing he could have that penalty again. Penalty that Dave Greshik saved so well. No doubt the 2 players who were sent off for Rochester, Lamar Batista and Pedro Dolabella, wish they could have that moment back again, because they have left their teammates with a mountain to climb, and they've climbed half the mountain. Still got 15 minutes more to go, though. And then, of course, if it's still level, it's penalties themselves, which is another stressful process for both teams.
And I really believe, too, if you do go to penalties, I think that momentum switches in the favor of Rochester, New York FC, because the last thing FC Motown wants, you've had 30-plus minutes playing up 2 men. The last thing you want to do is go to the lottery and see what happens.
Yeah, to some degree, I think you're 100% right. But if you'd have said to FC Motown before this game, you're going to be getting to penalties, again, they would have snapped your hand off, because they were saying, and their coach, Sachi Hutt, was saying, we know they've got some great players, very good players for this level. We know it's going to be tough. We know we have to play a really good match tonight if we're to get through. So I think they would have probably settled for penalties very happily at the start of this game. But given where they are now, look at the coach, he's hammering the ground here. There he goes again.
Look at that animation.
Yeah, I think he's saying, guys, you will never get a chance like this. Do not sit back. Give it everything you've got. Run yourself in the ground. I'll give you more than a day off. I'll give you the whole week off to recover. But you cannot leave this on the table. And I agree with him. It's a great chance for FC Motown to go on and to the next. I mean, to have an amateur team in the 4th round of the U.S. Open Cup. What an achievement that would be.
Gary, I tell you what, we're calling the match. We're not cheering for anybody or anything like that. Sachiata, he's my kind of guy. I will say it like that. Like, I do like that man. He is my kind of guy out there. He wants to start the fire, Gary. And even when we talk to him, he keeps it real. He walks around keeping it real. He absolutely does. And I think you saw that on display there, just in that little few moments of animation with his squad.
Yeah, well, he knows that victory is so close. And the thing is this with FC Motown, if they were against 11 Rochester players, you'd expect the Rochester players to be a little bit fitter. We were saying it wouldn't be good for FC Motown to go to extra time, given they haven't had the same level of training as Rochester. But with 2 men extra, that's a whole different story. This is where now the next 15 minutes, if you're FC Motown, you have got to bomb high balls in. You've got to flatten Rochester from every angle you can and be brave. It's all there waiting for this amateur side to get through to the next round of the U.S. Open Cup.
So here we go. Neil Rule, Gary Bailey with you. Former Manchester United English national team keeper. Happy to have you along for the ride. Second extra time session. Everything on the line. 3rd round. The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Rochester, New York FC, FC Motown level at 2. Rochester playing with just 9 men. 2 red cards in the second half.
And can I say, for those who joined late, 2 self-inflicted red cards and a missed penalty. They have made their life very difficult, Rochester, here tonight.
And now a corner coming up. The head coach of FC Motown, Sachiat, very, very animated between the extra time sessions.
Got big boys in there now. Joe Fowler, the number 7, he can cause a few problems with his head.
There's a corner sent in. Ejimato puts a couple of fists to it. Walking out, though, to line things up. One more time is Pompey. He will send it back. There's got to be some space somewhere out on the pitch, and there is. Alberto. Perez. Pompey. Good pace on that cross. Headed away, however.
It's just recycling the ball. Knock it out wide, get a cross in. Ball gets knocked clear, and then you recycle it again.
Rochester able to get the takeaway. Pass finds its mark. There's just too many black kits out there in relation to white kits. Ejimato knocked that one down. Makes the grab, and Ejimato is rolling around on the pitch. And a Yellow card will be issued. Carollo goes in the books.
He's sort of making out there wasn't much contact, and to be fair, Ejimadu was leaving the ball very late to pick it up.
A yellow card caution has been issued.
Sure, was
to
that bad a
Motown,
tackle? The goalkeeper was writhing around in agony. Let's have a look here. He's leaving it there.
108th minute of the match.
But he jumps out the way. I don't even know if
reaction.
I don't even know if there was hardly any contact. Yeah, I think it was looking for a red card. Trying to get Crowler sent off there. But I guess you have to do that at this stage of the match when you're down to 9 men. If you can get one of their players sent off rightly or wrongly, at least it gives
you don't care.
Yeah, at least it gives your players a chance.
Ball headed up ahead. Played up now by Ian Garrett. Alberto comes over, pops it up in the air. Ridge will head that one over the line. Throw-in coming up. All the MLS teams that are in action right now are winning their matches. The only exception to that rule, Greenville has just scored to draw a level with Charlotte. Those are the up-to-date numbers. Here's Duca. Alberto. And the flag is up.
I'm just wondering why Duca's out there. I mean, he's such a wonderful finisher. Wouldn't you want him in the box? I'd want him next to Joe Fowler and say, big man, Joe, you try and win the ball, knock it down to me, I'll stick it in the back of the net.
He's been absolutely brilliant in tight spaces in the 6, in the 18.
You've got enough wide players, you've got enough wing backs and good crosses of the ball, such as Sammy Pompey on the right-hand side. He can knock the ball in. Kian Alberto, of course, the number 16 has been fantastic with the balls he's knocked in. Doesn't need Dilly Duca out there. He's not needed to cross the ball.
Ejimadu down again.
Oh, this is either cramp or it's just helping everyone get a breather at the moment.
50-50 shot. Could be both, right?
The thing about being a goalkeeper going down is they have to stop the match. If it's an outfield player, the referee, if he thinks you're faking it, can just ignore you. But when a keeper goes down, you've got to stop it because clearly it's a huge disadvantage to the team who has the keeper on the floor.
The match has slowed to a crawl. Nearly 111 minutes into this one. So a card has been issued, I'm told, to the bench of Rochester, New York FC. Those were the boos that you heard.
I think everybody's tempers are getting a little bit flared at the moment. So much at stake.
The referee to the Rochester bench staff in the 112th minute of the match.
So one of the assistant coaches for Rochester, New York FC was actually shown a red, and he is leaving. He will be the third member of Rochester, New York FC sent out. Security is actually coming to get the assistant coach. It's why this is the U.S. Open. It is wild out there. And here comes FC Motown in the meantime.
Got to get the ball in the box. What's the point of getting it wide if you're not going to get it into the mixer? I just don't quite get what FC Motown are doing now. Get it wide and get it in there. All the bodies are waiting for the ball. Just whip it in. There you go.
Pompey does exactly that. It's headed away.
And back in again.
Sent in one more time. Trying to make a turn with it. It's Criollo, but he could not, and it goes out. A goal kick coming up, and again with the 2-man advantage as Ejimado goes down with more cramping.
They're going to have to sub him out if this continues. I don't know if they do have much in the way of a sub on the bench there.
They get the
Rochester.
one. They get the one extra, right, because of the extra time.
Yeah, it's who they have available. I'm looking at the bench to see if they have a. They do have a goalkeeper. And is it Kaike Louis?
Kaike Louis.
Kaike Louis. And if this continues for the keeper and he finds that he can't move around Ejimado, then he might need to be subbed. No?
That's what the official's telling him right now.
Yeah, if you go down once more, then
you're out. Yeah. And keep in mind too, as we make our way towards, as we crawl our way towards penalties here, he's the keeper, man. Like,
yeah,
you know,
for the penalties.
For the penalties.
Unless they sub him out.
So here we go. As Lopez plays it back up. Time running out. FC Motown playing up 2 men. And remember, that advantage goes away when we go to penalties. You're back level, and it's a penalty kick situation. Otto down to the turf. I think Edward Williams went down for Rochester, New York FC as well.
He came on as a sub, so he shouldn't have any cramp issues. Maybe it's just an injury.
And at this point, when I call matches, Gary, I have to ask the question, when do we play soccer? For real, like, when do we play soccer?
Yeah, it's... I don't know if it's on purpose. It doesn't seem to be. I mean, you would think they'd want to slow the game down, Rochester, just so they can get a breather, because with 9 men, they're doing a lot more running. Maybe that is part of this, or maybe it's just a genuine injury. It's very difficult to say. It is early on in the season for all these teams, so maybe they're not fully fit as yet. But I must admit, if I was in a team of nine players, I'd be getting my players to go down regularly just so we can get a breather, because these players are having to run so much. But it's surprising that he gets it when he comes on as a substitute. It makes more sense for a player who's played the entire game to go down with cramp.
So Williams will make his way to the sideline.
I mean, he's grabbing his hamstring more than his calf, so maybe it's not cramp. Maybe it's just he's tweaked a muscle early in the season.
So Edward Williams limps off.
Yeah, we've had everything, haven't we?
We have.
Two red cards, 4 goals, penalty saved. And it's goalkeeper going down with cramp 2 or 3 times. Drama. That sums up the Open Cup.
Ejimado, his play finally picks back up. So they have not announced the added time as of yet. But it will be a lot, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Vanica doing so well in the corner there just to win the free kick, slow the match down. They're probably going to try and keep it there, him and Dry, and just tempt one of the defenders to kick out. That could be a free kick as well. Yeah, there you go. They're playing it very cleverly, Rochester, New York. Now, Williams is probably claiming some sort of red card, but I didn't see it. I don't think it was a kick out. Let's have a He was trying to get out the way, it seemed.
Yeah, Dry taken down from behind, but this will be a golden opportunity now for Rochester, New York FC.
More slowing the game down. But you're right, they get a few big bodies up. If they decide to throw the big boys into the box here, this could be a great opportunity for Rochester.
It is tough, though, down 2 men. You just put yourself at risk of a counter if it goes wrong.
But get the big boys in and keep out some of the smaller ones for Rochester. But you are right, it's a small gamble, but if you go to penalties, you're down to a 50-50 gamble anyway.
No one forward for Rochester, so this ball will probably go back to the corner.
Yeah, they've decided to play it safe, and the two of them are just going to do exactly the same, try and keep possession in the corner, and wait and see if they get kicked or pushed.
Throwing a water to FC Motown.
Just need to get the ball forward, FC Motown. That clock is ticking now. Their time is nearly up. And I tell you, it's been a good defensive performance by 9 men, Rochester, New York. I thought 30 minutes was going to be too much for them, but they've shown they can do it.
So we'll see if Ejimato comes out of the match. Here comes FC Motown. Pompey with it. Service in the box. That shot makes its way in. Ejimato makes the stop.
There's a substitution for Rochester.
So Ejimato will come out. Kake Luis.
Keike Santos will be going in for number 1. Philip Ejimato
will come in.
Wow, what a time to come in, just in time for the penalty shootout. Kake Luis Santos, age 24 years of age. Can make himself a hero here. If he comes in and makes a couple of crucial penalty saves.
He's actually on loan from Vitória in the Brazilian 3rd Division. Played 4 matches for the Brazilian U20 national team. Ejimato will come out.
Tall goalkeeper, isn't he big? And if you can play for a Brazilian youth national team, you must be a decent player. So this is it. You don't have to work hard. Don't have to do the 120 minutes. Just come in for the glory bit, make a couple of penalty saves, and then go around and celebrate the victory with your teammates.
Okay, Luis Santos comes in. There will be 4 minutes of added time. So FC Motown, I would think, will move forward. Sent in the box right away. It's played out. So almost immediately, Kake Luis Santos put to the test.
PLS nearly getting on the end of that for FC Motown.
Official on the field has signaled that there will be
It seems
4
that the
minutes
defensive
added
actions
to
of these
half.
9 players for Rochester, New York has been enough to see them through the penalty shootout. They have made their life difficult. 2-0 up with 11 men. You're thinking, well, this is going to be a comfortable day against the amateurs from FC Motown, but 2 red cards and a missed penalty later, and they're hanging on for dear life, Rochester, New York. But had they given us entertainment or what?
And Acker trying to make a move forward. Goes across the line. Ejimato replaced. Former Brazilian U20 national team player, Kake Luis Santos. Throw-in coming up in the meantime. Making a move, stepping through, back heel pass to the front, and the shot goes just wide of the upper left corner. Van Acker almost was the hero.
Oh, Dry does so well, Vaneker as well, and just maybe he's got himself into a position. He's 7 yards out. That was the moment when he could have tucked it away and finished this for Rochester, which would have been an incredible ending. What a chance for Milan Vaneker.
Here come Rochester, New York FC. They are being the aggressor, trying to move forward. There will be another yellow card issue.
You can see the Rochester players are trying to get him sent off, but I don't think there was anything worthy of a sending off, certainly worthy of a yellow. Let's have a look at it again, have a close look. There's a little bit of a right foot stuck out, but yeah, it's a yellow card. I think that's the extent of it. But Rochester obviously agreed that they've had two reds, so they're looking to get a red for FC Motown with every tough tackle.
Ian Alberto officially goes in the books. We are moments away from penalties to decide who moves on to the fourth round of the U.S. Open Cup.
That's Alberto, the yellow card in the 124th minute of the match.
Wow, what drama. What drama we have had here tonight. And nearly a last-minute winner there for Rochester, New York. For a team that's having to defend with just 9 men, the fact they even created a goal-scoring opportunity of that quality is fantastic.
Well, remember when we were a half hour in? I said, wow, Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
If they can punch a third in here, they could have an easy evening. That world got turned upside down. Throw-in coming up.
Well, they've played the clock down superbly well, Rochester, and now they're going to earn the right to go to penalties by the looks of it.
De Oliveira able to play it. Does FC Motown have time for one final push? Great dummy there. There's Duca making his way up. Duca towards the box. He's dangerous. Duca's shot, not a ton on it. Luis Santos makes the stop.
That's why I think Duca should have been more involved in the center of the box there. He's got that ability, not so much to hit a tough or hard shot from way out, but the skills in close quarters, 4 or 5 yards out, surrounded by 2-3 defenders. That's where he would have been at his best.
Will there be time for one more push? Looks like there will. Sent into the box, headed away confidently. 50-50 ball. Wide to the right side. Swung in one more time. There's a header up towards the frame. Just out of the reach of Hackett, and the whistle sounds.
Look at those Rochester players just
collapse to the
deck.
turf.
Wow, there was nearly a great chance there in the dying seconds of that match for FC Motown, but credit those 9 players, goalkeeper and 8 outfield players for Rochester. They have run themselves into the ground. No wonder they're all walking stiffly. Half of them have got cramp, but job not done yet. They've got to go and pick 5 penalty takers. And now we're going to have the drama of a penalty shootout.
So a berth in the fourth round on the line. FC Motown, one of the 2 remaining amateur sides here in the U.S. Open Cup, looking to extend their stay.
Well, this is where goalkeepers can either become heroes or not. It's one of the very few times that I felt as a goalkeeper that you had a chance to do something exciting and fun. Generally, you just doing your job of keeping the ball out the net. But with penalties, you can actually be the hero. You can be the one who makes that save, and then you rush off to celebrate with your teammates that you're through to the next round. And in reverse, it's the players who are under pressure because they're expected to score from the penalty spot. So when they don't, they become the villains.
New York Red Bulls with a 2-1 lead over Hartford Athletic in the 83rd minute. Minnesota United with a 1-0 lead over Forward Madison there in the 76th minute. Charlotte Greenville, they are level at 1. Orlando City with a 2-1 lead over the Tampa Bay Rowdies. They're in the 82nd minute. Atlanta United in the 54th minute in control over Chattanooga. They have a 4-0 lead. Here, we're 2-2. We're going to penalties. Later on, San Antonio will play Austin. Real Salt Lake, North Colorado Hailstorm FC will square off. It's at 9:30 Eastern. LAFC in Orange County at 10:30, and Phoenix Rising New Mexico United, they're at 10:30 as well. So Rochester, New York FC controlled the clock in the extra time.
This is it. You got to put your hand up to the coach and say, hey, I want to take a penalty. I'm up for it, because that's what the coach is looking for. Not just these best penalty takers, but also those who have the desire to walk up, have the self-conviction, the courage of their self-conviction to get up there and take it. Deciding which end to start with, and then and you have to stick together. You'll see teams always they line up at the halfway line, they put their arms around each other. They know that it's one for all for one. If one person misses, everyone takes the blame together, and they all take the glory together. And I think that's the only way to do it, because it's intimidating walking up to take a penalty kick, and the two goalkeepers will high five there, and it's very intimidating. And it's if the goalkeeper guesses the right way, they've got every chance of making the save, even if you hit a fairly decent penalty. It's only if you hit a great penalty, and the keeper's got no chance. But so the two teams they'll gather, they'll make a tight little circle, and they'll try and give each other as much support as possible.
I'm always interested in that dynamic, Gary, where you talk about who wants to take it. Because make no mistake, there are people out there that do not want that moment.
Oh, yeah. And there's some very good players who don't want it, who just don't want to live with the fact that they missed a penalty that cost them and their teammates the chance to go through. But I think the majority of players, they wouldn't be playing this game if they didn't have the ability to cope with pressure. So the majority can do it, and it looks like Dilly Duke is walking up to start it off, which is always tough. The first one, you want to bury that. Otherwise, if you don't, you put your next teammate under all sorts of pressure.
Kake Luis Santos, the keeper, came on in the second extra time session to replace Ejimaru. FC Motown, one of the two remaining amateur sides, looking to move on, and as Gary Bailey just said, this first one, man, it sets the tone for everything. Duca, the former MLSer, over 100 career MLS matches played. So again, this is not your average amateur side.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we're an amateur team. Oh, we got this guy in the MLS that played over 100 matches, by the way. Has a goal here tonight as well.
The referee just explaining to the keepers that they mustn't come off their line. And they'll have the assistant ref watching for that. Or should I say, they mustn't come off their line until the kick is taken. Of course, they can come off their line after that.
So here we go. Dilly Duca sets it up. There's the whistle. Duca the approach, and the stop is made reaching back and punching it away. Kike Luis Santos.
What a save that was. That was a great penalty from Dilly Duca. That was a fantastic penalty, but the save, have a look at the save. He has smacked this ball high up. Goalkeeper's guessed the right way. Wow, that is a world-class penalty save. Look at this again. Stunning. Arm goes up and tips it over the crossbar. That's a good a penalty save as you will see for a long, long time.
Incredible. Kike Luis Santos doing the job, so he has staked Rochester, New York FC to a very advantageous position. Here's Gustavo Risi. Played the last 3 seasons with Austin Bold. Can Risi deliver? He does. And all the momentum now on the side of Rochester, New York FC.
Yeah, straight down the middle, that one from Risi.
I know it's not by the book, but Joseph Fala here, Gary, pretty much in a must-strike situation as we get another look. Quality take.
Just down the middle. You guess the keeper's either going to go left or right. Very few keepers stand still, so if you can put it through the middle, you're likely to score.
There's Joseph Fala. He has a goal. Fala, short run up and banks it in off the crossbar. Never a doubt, right?
Wow, that was a good penalty. Risky one hitting the crossbar, but does he tuck this away? Absolutely fantastic finish.
Very short run up. It's got to be a little bit unorthodox, I think, if you're a keeper. That short run up, you don't see that a ton.
Yeah, as a keeper, I think you just pick one direction and you hope you've picked the right one. You try and guess which way the player's likely to go, but to be perfectly honest, it's
a guessing game.
It's pretty much a guessing game, yeah.
This is a guy that played over 300 matches as keeper for Manchester United. He knows. Here's Edward Williams. And Williams has his shot stopped. And so to say, we are back on serve.
Yeah, man, this match, to separate these two teams, the drama, and this wasn't a good penalty.
No.
It was just slightly to the keeper's right from the keeper's perspective, and that's the direction that Dave Krejcik chose to go, and so it was a comfortable save.
Krejcik actually just kind of dismissed that one.
Yep.
Here we go again. Pielis will line this one up. So now we're essentially at a best-of-3 situation. Pielis, the run up, and he buries it in the left side. Never a doubt there. Confident finish. And now all the pressure back on Rochester, New York FC.
Yeah, good finish. I don't know if he saw the keeper going the other way, but he seemed very comfortable tucking it in that corner.
That was good enough with enough pace, even if Luis Santos' guess is right, he's probably not going to get to that one.
Yeah. The save from Santos in the first penalty. I'm still trying to get over that brilliant save.
Ian Garrett needs to stay on, and they do not, as Krejcik comes up again with another stop, and now FC Motown in the driver's seat.
Wow, the drama from one direction to the next, to this team's on top, then that team's on top. No, it's just a case of if they score their last 2, FC Motown, they're through to the next round.
And now everything riding on Kike Luis Santos. He has to come up big for his side. FC Motown with the 2-1 advantage here in penalties. Federico de Oliveira. And the game winner against Syracuse in the 96th minute. Another big moment. And this time, Luis Santos closes the door.
The celebrations from the goalkeeper afterwards. He's pumped up about that save. Picks the right direction.
What a quick hands.
Very quick hands. I mean, it was a fair penalty. It was a little bit close to the keeper, and The keeper chooses the right way, but you're right, he drops that right hand down nice and quickly, and then he's off to celebrate. So we're back to all level again.
So now, here we go. Jallo makes his way in. He can level. Huge, huge penalty kick here. Jallo makes the run, sends it in. The hesitation, confident slot. And once again, we are back on serve.
Now it's sudden death. One penalty left each, and then sudden death after that. So effectively, it's from now onwards, it's sudden death. And haven't been able to separate these two teams over 120 minutes, nor over 4 penalties. So let's see what happens now.
Ian Alberto. It's been tremendous on set pieces. Alberto runs up, and the stop is made. Once again, Luis Santos closes the door. What do we have?
Did he move it? Did he come off his line? He did.
Looks like he did. And yes, the flag went up. That little hesitation. But is Luis Santos saying he stopped on his run-up? And a yellow card. That little hesitation threw off Kike Luis Santos.
Because you can't come to a complete stop,
Right.
but you can slow down. So that might have been what confused the keeper for a moment.
So Alberto gets a do-over. Alberto runs up and banks that one in off the right post. Perfectly played. And now Rochester, New York FC must score to stay alive.
Keeper guessed the right way again. Nearly got his hand to it, Big Santos. Have a look here. Inches away from making another save. So, do or die.
That is the scenario. Raymond Dry will line up to it.
Dave Kretschek, the plumber between the pipes.
Here it is. Sometimes this writes itself, folks. More U.S. Open Cup drama. The run-up. And confidently slotted in. And we are all leveled up as we officially go to sudden death.
It's difficult as a keeper if you guess the wrong way. It doesn't matter how good or bad the penalty is. If it's on target, it goes in. You just have to be lucky and guess the right way and then see if you can make the save. So, back to the Brazilian. His save in the first penalty is still one of the best penalty saves I've seen for a long, long time. Absolutely brilliant.
Zach Perez, the former Richmond kicker, USL League One. Everything all leveled up. Perez, the run up, and he blows it over top of the crossbar.
Did he stumble? Did he slip? Just wondering what happened there on his approach, and he only slipped afterwards. So it was just a bad shot from him. Lifted it too high, and in fact the keeper had gone the other way. If he just keeps it down, he hits the back of the net. Oh, that's a tough one for Zach Perez, especially if this next one goes in and FC Motown go home and out of the tournament.
Milan Vaneker with a chance to send Richmond, New York FC through. Vaneker for the win. Of course, Rochester, New York FC survives. Down 2 men. All throughout extra time. They win it in penalties. They're going to the 4th round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
What drama. Absolutely incredible. I mean, this penalty shootout, one moment it was one team going through, then it was the other. In the end, credit to Rochester, New York for surviving, having 2 red cards. Lamar Batista, who got sent off, and Pedro Dolabella, they should go and hug every one of those 9 players who stayed on and fought so well. And for FC Motown, for an amateur side to have gone this far and come this close to making the 4th round, what a fantastic achievement by Sachi Hutt and all these players. And they'll be disappointed they didn't take the opportunity against 9 men that they had. It's tough for them, but still a fantastic performance they can be so proud of. Absolutely brilliant by the amateurs of FC Motown, but the glory goes to Rochester, New York.
Rochester, New York FC moving on. The draw for the next round will be tomorrow at noon. That action will take place May 10th and 11th. What a night in Rochester. Wild swings back and forth all evening long, but in the end, Rochester, New York FC prevails in penalties. From our broadcast partner, Gary Bailey, my name is Neil Rule. Rochester, New York FC survives penalties. They are moving on. Thanks for watching, everybody. Well, see you later.